Maps. Rubio. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Wheeler.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from legal counsel on the rules of Orem and decorum.
Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with council can be found on the council's clerk's webpage. Individuals may testify for 3 minutes unless the presiding officer states otherwise. Your microphone will be muted when your time is over. The presiding officer preserves order. Disruptive conduct such as shouting, refusing to conclude your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting other testimony or council deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene virtually. Your testimony should address the matter being considered. When testifying, 1, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. 2, if you're a lobbyist, identify the organization you represent. 3, virtual testifiers should unmute themselves when the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to our first item, which is a resolution. Rebecca, let's please hear item 950.
Establish performing arts venues work group to evaluate management of P5 arts facilities.
I'd like to welcome our Vibrant Communities Deputy City Administrator, Sonia Szymanski, and Director of the Office of Arts and Culture, Charity Montes. And I'll turn it over to them to begin the presentation.
Unless we'd like to go to Commissioner Ryan first, or should we kick it off?
Excuse me. Are you talking about the statement that the mayor wants to read?
Yeah, it could be introduced at any time.
I think I might as well read it now that we've given so much attention to
Reached it? Okay.
I think you were supposed to say, ta-da! That's usually how he responds. He usually responds best to that. So.
Hi. So this is from Mayor Wheeler. It's a statement. This is the first time I'm looking at it and reading it. It's about the P5's work group resolution. I'm proud that this council understands the profound economic and cultural value of the arts and culture sector. It's a key role in our economic recovery and ongoing success as a major American city. Artists and arts organizations drive foot traffic to local businesses, create good jobs, and generate significant revenue that supports essential city services. And our city-owned performing arts venues are more than stages. They host social and civic connection, boost tourism, and anchor the creative culture that makes Portland an exceptional place to live, to work, and to visit. This resolution continues our progress to reestablish the city as a leader and a partner in Portland's arts ecosystem. Spurred and inspired by the leadership vision of, this is a little embarrassing, Commissioner Ryan, we've created, that was nice, Ted. We've created the Office of Arts and Culture and elevated it to the Vibrant Communities Service Area, adopted a regional cultural plan, pivoted our relationship with RAC, begun building new partnerships with organizations large and small, and launched work to reimagine our P5 venues. Thank you to Commissioner Ryan for his leadership on this item and to the Vibrant Communities team in advance for their work. All right, let's go.
Okay,
now it's your turn.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. That was fun.
Good afternoon. I'm Sonia Szymanski, Deputy City Administrator for the Vibrant Communities Service Area, which includes our new Office of Arts and Culture. As you know, the city owns 3 downtown core performing arts venues, which are operated by Metro. This operating arrangement has been in place for 35 years, and we are long overdue for a review of how well it serves our shared goal: successful, sustainable, world-class venues that anchor a thriving downtown and citywide arts and culture sector. We owe these buildings and the organizations who bring them to life our best. So, the resolution before you proposes a work group to look inward at the operations of our P5 venues. Our charge is to identify immediate and long-term areas for improvement by exploring 2 questions. How can we operate better in the model that we have? Again, we own, Metro runs. And what other operating models are out there? And is there an alternative that would better serve our shared goal? Your colleagues at Metro passed parallel legislation this morning And today you'll hear from Office of Arts and Culture Director Charity Montez, our Metro colleagues, and our friend Isaac Thompson, President and CEO of the Oregon Symphony. We are aligned in our view that the current arrangement is challenging and in our excitement to open this conversation and see where it takes us. And as a very brief aside, you probably are curious about how this stream of work intersects with the Keller Next Steps you directed recently. Charity will speak to that, but the very short answer is that we have here a smaller scope and a shorter time horizon for consideration. I will also say you had a very long day yesterday, and you have more substance after this, so we will keep ourselves within our time, and we thank you. Go ahead, Charity.
Okay, thank you, Sonia. Good afternoon, commissioners. For the record, my name is Charity Montez, and I am the director of the Office of Arts and Culture, where our vision is arts at the center of public life in Portland. Today, I will provide an overview of the resolution to establish a performing arts venues work group and share why evaluating the management of publicly owned arts facilities is an important next step in our overall efforts to support Portland's vibrant arts ecosystem. Then you'll hear from some of our invited guests, and we'll answer any questions you may have. Next slide, please. First, I'd like to focus on the 5 city-owned performing arts facilities, which are at the heart of downtown and this resolution: the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall, the Keller Auditorium, and the Antoinette Hatfield Hall, which houses the Newmark Theater, the Dolores Winningstad Theater, and the Brunish Theater. These 5 venues are collectively known as the Portland 5 Centers for the Arts, and they are central to our arts community and our creative economy. Next slide, please. Each year, Portland 5 Centers for the Arts welcomes hundreds of thousands of Portlanders and visitors to our city. This slide shows the numbers for fiscal year 23-24. These venues host live performances, concerts, and cultural events year-round. Local nonprofit arts presenters range from small dance troupes and theater companies to popular lecture series to our regional symphony, ballet, and opera. Commercial acts include everything from touring Broadway shows and rock concerts to your favorite Netflix special comedian. These cultural events not only enrich our lives, but also stimulate our local businesses and bolster our regional economy. Even during the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, Portland's arts and culture sector has continued to drive economic recovery and enhance the well-being of our community. Next slide, please. Currently, the city-owned venues are managed by Portland 5 Centers for the Arts, a department within Metro, under the oversight of the Metropolitan Exposition Recreation Commission, or the MERC. This management structure was established through a consolidation agreement, IGA, back in 1989, between the city and Metro to support regional tourism and maximize the benefits of our cultural facilities. However, a 2022 audit conducted by Metro highlighted areas needing improvement, including a governance model which is difficult to navigate, the need for shared understanding regarding the physical condition and maintenance of the theaters, as well as lack of a clear funding plan for maintenance, support for arts organizations, and diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. In these recent years, these findings, combined with shifts in the arts ecosystem, have prompted us to reassess how we manage and operate our cultural assets so that we can better serve Portlanders and the region. Next slide, please. In simple terms, our goals with this resolution are to explore opportunities and challenges for both immediate and long-term needs related to the planning, operations, and maintenance of the P5 facilities. Additionally, we will consider alternative operational models for the venues with an eye towards ensuring that these venues continue to thrive and serve as cornerstones of our cultural and economic landscape. Next slide, please. Specifically, this resolution outlines 6 directives for the city. The first directive calls for the formation of a work group that brings together staff from city and Metro, along with representatives from our arts and culture communities and labor partners. The second tasks the work group with considering opportunities and challenges to immediate and long-term operations, maintenance, and planning for the P5 venues. And the third directive affirms the city's commitment to engage subject matter experts to conduct a business model and governance analysis that includes a study of alternative operational models. Next slide, please. Finally, The resolution directs the Deputy City Administrator of Vibrant Communities to identify recommendations on both short-term opportunities for improvement and longer-term conditions that would need to be addressed during an IGA renegotiation process. The Deputy City Administrator will present all recommendations to the City Administrator by June 30th, 2025, the end of this fiscal year. And as DCA Szymanski mentioned, we were here earlier this month with a resolution addressing the future of the Keller Auditorium. In that resolution, the Council directed staff to work on a market feasibility analysis to help inform details and decisions for 2 Broadway-capable venues. The work in this resolution before you today will not conflict with that future of Keller work, but can be done in parallel. With a focused scope and tighter timeline, findings and recommendations from the Performing Arts Venues Work Group can be shared with and inform the market feasibility analysis. And we can stop sharing. That's the end of my slide deck. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our invited guests to share their perspectives on this work. And we'll start with our colleagues from Metro.
Just a reminder, please state your name for the record.
Sure. Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioners, I'm Craig Stroud. I'm the Interim General Manager of Visitor Venues for Metro.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Brian Wilson. I'm the Interim Executive Director for Portland 5 Centers for the Arts.
So while I'm interim for only a few short months, I was the Executive Director of the Oregon Convention Center for 7-8 years. And so I've been around MERC. I know many of you with our time with Travel Portland, VDF, et cetera. But I've certainly been involved in a lot of the conversations around the challenges with operating the Keller and where we find ourselves currently. I guess today it was a very nice summary that you all heard from Charity and Sonia. But what I would say is both MERC we held a work session with MERC last week or 2 weeks ago and presented similar information. They're excited to engage in this conversation. They have generally aligned with what we've talked about as conditions that need to be addressed. And then Metro Council passed a resolution earlier today, similar language, again, concurring with the language and direction so that we can address the conditions and really create a thriving arts ecosystem that we all want. So we're relatively shared, I think, in alignment, and we're open to the conversation. Some of the details around what does the work group look like, who's at the table, those conversations have yet to be held. We look forward to them. We certainly want broad perspectives from parties. And really, from a priority standpoint, Metro Council and MERC were very clear. They want a thriving ecosystem. They want to ensure DEI efforts are included, safe and accessible facilities, all things, the list goes on, but all things that I think we can generally get behind and give us a North Star as we engage in these conversations.
The only thing I would like to add, Commissioners, is I think this is an exciting time for Portland and for the region and the communities that we serve, and I think it's our responsibility for the public to ensure that this moves forward in a very collaborative way, and Charity and I work really well together, and I'm looking forward to this work, hopefully being part of the work group. And I do lovingly say I was 10 years old when this IGA was put together, and I hope that I've evolved and changed and modified throughout those times, so I think it's time for this one to hopefully evolve as well.
Thank you. Great.
Thank you.
My name is Isaac Thompson, and I am the president and CEO of the Oregon Symphony. Thank you, City Commissioners, for the opportunity to testify and for your leadership on arts and culture issues that are critical to Portland's future. The Symphony has been a proud resident of Portland for over 128 years, and for the past 4 decades, we have called the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall our home. I'm here today to testify in support of this resolution on behalf of the Oregon Symphony, the Portland Opera, and the Oregon Ballet Theater. Together, the Symphony, Opera, and Ballet form an invaluable foundation for the performing arts ecosystem in Portland. We collectively employ more than 500 local members of the arts community and bring tens of thousands of people into the city for performances each month. We actively support the next generation of artists in our region through educational initiatives and programs and the Oregon Ballet Theater School. We perform hundreds of shows each year, securing a vibrant cultural calendar that enriches life in Portland for residents and visitors alike. The resident companies and other nonprofit users of Portland's publicly owned arts facilities, including the Oregon Symphony, Portland Opera, the Oregon Ballet Theater, Literary Arts, the Portland Youth Philharmonic, the Metropolitan Youth Symphony, Whitebird Dance, Passon Art, and a host of other local and national arts organizations provide crucial support for our local economy, inspire our imagination, connect us with our friends, families, and communities, and engage us in healthy, fulfilling activities that are a source of pride and joy for people from all walks of life. Arts and culture are vital to our regional economy, to the health of downtown, and to reestablishing Portland as a leading West Coast destination. Over the course of the 24-25 season, the Oregon Symphony expects to attract nearly 200,000 people to downtown Portland. When we combine our audience with the opera, ballet, and other arts groups and culture groups that perform in facilities owned by the city of Portland, the number of visitors to downtown grows to over 1 million people a year. Arts and culture are clearly essential to a thriving Portland. I've been excited to see the city's recent collaboration with Metro and its leadership on arts and culture, including the creation of the Office of Arts and Culture, the continued evolution of RAC, and by centering this work in the Vibrant Communities portfolio. We are headed in a positive direction, and there is still work to do. As others have noted, the governance structure for managing Portland's publicly owned arts facilities is almost 40 years old. In those 4 decades, much has changed. It is a testament to this city and its pride in arts and culture that the symphony, the ballet, and the opera, as well as many other organizations, have grown, meeting an ever-increasing demand for cultural activity and vitality. We believe there is no time like the present to revisit the structure to ensure that arts organizations can continue to grow and thrive in Portland for decades to come. We are pleased that the city recognized the opportunity in this moment. I've had the privilege of working with orchestras in Cleveland, Milwaukee, Cincinnati, and New York City. And I have seen several of these orchestras in their home cities collaboratively address very similar governance, maintenance, and operational issues. Cities throughout the United States have assembled strategies that balance the interests of users, audiences, and owners to create sustained success. That is what this resolution gives us the opportunity to create in Portland. The symphony, the opera, and the ballet thank the city for having the courage and vision to address these issues, and we look forward to engaging with you to address our fundamental challenges, learn from what is working in other cities, and create a foundation on which we can all thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Does that conclude the presentation?
It does.
Rebecca, do we have any public testimony?
We do. We have 7 people signed up.
Thank you all.
First is Rich Jaffe.
Welcome, Rich. You'll have 3 minutes when you're ready.
Commissioners Gonzalez, Maps, and Ryan. For the record, my name is Rich Jaffe, CEO of Broadway Across America. As you know, we present Broadway shows in more than 45 markets and have been bringing Broadway to Portland in partnership with the Portland Opera for nearly 30 years. I am here today to reaffirm our commitment to the City of Portland as a partner in further developing the arts, culture, and economy. We have seen time and again how the arts can revitalize city centers, and Portland audiences have already established the market as a premier live performing arts destination. Evaluating the venue operations model is timely given the other work underway to evaluate Portland's venue needs. We applaud this vision to plan for the future. Our experience in markets nationwide brings a unique perspective to this conversation about operations. We work with many venues that have a variety of operational models. We have also been and are operators or owners of performing arts venues. We have seen no limit to the possibilities of how operations can be structured or governed. There are nonprofit and for-profit models. There are also publicly operated models. There are a combination of the two. The common thread is that the nonprofit arts organizations require subsidies in some form to utilize the facilities. These subsidies come from philanthropy, public investment, and/or revenue generated by commercial presenters. There are many variables and options. We can be a resource from our experience in other cities and our knowledge of and commitment to the City of Portland. We support this resolution and are excited to be involved in shaping the right operational model to deliver long-term growth and sustainability of all live performing arts in Portland. We remain a committed partner with you, the city, and all working to realize our collective goal for a robust, sustainable, equitable arts ecosystem and economy. Thank you.
Next, we have John Russell.
Welcome, John. When you're ready, 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Members of council, I'm John Russell. Please let me make 3 simple comments about today's resolution. One, I'm a believer that organizational structure predetermines its outcome. That's what I studied in graduate school. Our research and experience over the past 3 years with the P5 organization leads us to applaud these efforts to address numerous complaints that are broad in nature. This work is timely to the overall efforts directed to the improvement of the cultural and economic growth of the city. So we applaud your efforts with this resolution to make the system work better. 2, the appointments of members of the work group will predetermine its outcome. I hope that you will endorse appointing a broad group of members. I don't think that the work group should be composed exclusively of members of the arts community, for example, nor should it be composed exclusively of members of the public sector. We're all in this together. The issues are so complicated that they need to be analyzed by folks with broad experiences and backgrounds. The third point is simple. The work group's process should be transparent. Thank you.
Noreen Murdoch.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Noreen Murdoch. I'm the executive director of Portland Youth Philharmonic. We're the longest continually operating youth orchestra in the United States, founded 100 years ago. Our mission is to prepare young people for success through musical excellence. And first of all, I would like to thank the City of Portland and the Office of Arts and Culture for their generous funding, which was announced yesterday. We greatly appreciate your support. So PYP is one of P5's resident companies and has a long history in Portland city venues. We performed in what is now called the Keller Auditorium for decades, and then when it opened, moved to the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall. As an aside, you may have seen the bronze relief art piece memorializing Jacques Gershkovich, PYP's founding music director, installed on the second floor lobby of the Keller Auditorium, paying tribute to this organization's impact on youth music education in Portland. Each year, we serve 300 musicians in our 4 ensembles, over 5,000 audience members through our concert series, and reach more than 12,000 students through free and low-cost programs, workshops, coaching, and community performances. In addition to our concert series at the Schnitzer, the vast majority, about 10,000 of those free community program participants, are audience members at our annual free children's concerts, which have taken place since the late 1920s for students grades 3 through 8. Many of those students have never been to the Arlene Schnitzer Concert Hall before, and to see their faces light up when they walk through the door and see the grandeur of the lobby and then the hall itself is always a delight. Our access to venues like those within P5 is critical to our mission. Not only do we have a physical need for large stages like that at the Schnitzer or at the Keller for an orchestra as large as ours with over 100 musicians on stage, but these spaces allow us to provide a high caliber music education experience to our young musicians and bring diverse programming to our community. The creation of the Performing Arts Venues Work Group is a valuable step in ensuring that venues like these remain accessible, well-maintained, and able to serve the needs of Portland's performing arts organizations. We fully support this resolution and encourage the council to pass it. Thank you for considering this investment in our city's cultural future and in the young people who benefit so greatly from it. Thank you.
Next, we have Walter Weiler. Walter's joining us online.
Welcome, Walter.
Thank you. My connection is a little stable. Weiler,
Walt, we
and
seem to have a
an arts
connection
interested and supporter.
You want to start again? We think we lost
Sorry.
you at the beginning.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Sure. And if we
Good.
have additional problems, you
Walter
might turn off
Weiler,
your-
member of the
Go ahead, Walt.
Should turn his camera on.
Walter Weiler, board member of the Oregon Symphony and arts interested and supportive citizen.
Okay.
I want to urge you to vote to approve the establishment of the Performing Arts Venues Work Group. It's time to reconsider and reevaluate the operation of Portland's performing art venues in the light of city's current and future audiences, arts organization needs, and cultural needs. Collaboration between Metro, RAC, and the performing organizations as members of the Office of Arts and Culture Venues Work Group is an appropriate next step. In addition, a consultant's comparative analysis of other markets and how current facilities are operated elsewhere will ensure the access to best practices. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Pleasure.
Thank you, Walt.
Mark McCrary.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and thank you for this opportunity and a quick happy Halloween to y'all. I'm Mark McCrary. I'm Executive Director and CEO of the Portland Gay Men's Chorus, celebrating 45 years this next season. First, I want to applaud the City Council and Metro for agreeing to work together to convene a performing arts venue work group to explore opportunities and challenges for the operations, maintenance, and planning for P5. It is long overdue. It is encouraging that movement is being made on our creative future as a living document and not one that's been approved and put on a shelf to collect dust and shatter hope. This past March, in response to unanticipated costs in using the P5 facilities, the Portland Gay Men's Chorus convened a nonprofit performing arts coalition comprised of about 15 small to mid-sized performing arts groups to express our concerns regarding the rising costs of renting the performing arts facilities. In fact, we came to this very city council to laud the city for its vision. Together, we sent a letter to Commissioner Dan Ryan, whom we later met with, and stated, quote, "We believe that a collaborative approach involving city officials, arts leaders, and community representatives is essential for developing sustainable solutions to the challenges facing our performing arts community." This letter was sent to both Metro and Merck, and we are grateful to also meet with Councilor Christine Lewis. This letter went on to state, again, quote, "We are unequivocally committed to working in partnership with the City of Portland to co-create actionable steps that will help realize the vision that was presented in our creative future. We look forward to engaging in constructive dialogue and collaborative action to support the continued growth and success of the performing arts in Portland." None of this is unusual or has not already been stated, and today marks a step toward that vision. However, small to mid-sized arts groups cannot, and we should not be left to sit on the sidelines while planning and decisions are being made that profoundly impacts our ability to serve the people of this wonderful city. This is a heavy lift, and if the table is big enough, we can lift it together. On behalf of the Portland Gay Men's Chorus and others in the coalition, I want to ensure that this performing arts venue work group is inclusive and diverse to include the voices and needs of our small to mid-sized performing arts groups as we go forward. Thank you.
Next is Dana Rukowski.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Dana Rukowski. I am president of the Musicians Union, Local 99 of the American Federation of Musicians of the United States and Canada, which is also affiliated with AFL-CIO. I am also a regular performing violist in the Oregon Symphony, Portland Opera Orchestra, and our Oregon Ballet Orchestra, and other groups that use the P5 venues. Additionally, I am an educator in the performing arts. I humbly represent the 543 musicians of our local union that perform with the region's performing arts groups and guest presenters that use P5 venues. Speaking on behalf of the Musicians Local 99, I fully support this resolution. The data is abundantly clear that our region's performing arts organizations bolster the economy a great deal, as you've already heard. In our negotiations, with performing arts groups, we are seeing substantial financial struggles within our arts organizations that present at P5. They are being squeezed to a point of potentially no return if things continue as is. This is not sustainable for our arts community and the city it serves. The voices and expertise of city, arts, and labor leadership to form a work group is the best way forward to create a long-term plan, a real vision for Portland's arts groups. Just a small personal anecdote. I am one of those dreaded transplants to Portland, though I've never felt more at home anywhere else in the world than in the city. I moved to Portland in early 2020 after living in the DC metro area and performing and attending concerts at the Kennedy Center regularly. When I first heard the Oregon Symphony perform, I was shocked. I had no idea Portland had such an incredible world-class symphony orchestra. I'm telling you, I was shocked. When I first met musicians in our local union and performed alongside them in the opera and ballet orchestras, I knew I was home for good. I knew that this arts community is something to be treasured, and I wanted to be a part of supporting it. Our city and its art community deserves real vision and leadership to reach its potential, being a widely and wildly well-known destination for experiencing and creating arts and culture. The benefits of arts and culture last forever. Their economic recovery and growth, their civic engagement, their brain development, their healing and therapeutic, their mindful and thought-provoking, their respite from hard work, serving a community, their everything that matters to a child stuck in poverty, trauma, or abuse, their way out or way in, their hope. Musicians Local 99 would like to work with city leadership toward this vision. We support this resolution.
Rosetta Venatusi. Rosetta? I think she's not joined us, and that concludes testimony.
Okay, now it's time for council discussion. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues at this time?
Yeah, don't you have any?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
Everybody
few.
come back up, please.
Yeah, please. First of all, thanks for the presentation, and I think one of the themes that we heard was this is long overdue. It was referenced several times. I didn't realize it was 40 years, so that was profound. I think also one of the themes we heard was the concern about who will be at the table. And so tell me where you guys are in that, where the two of you are in that process and what the process will be to get the balanced table that we need to set for this work.
Sure. The resolution includes category descriptors of the types of perspectives we want to ensure are in the work group. And we will be working with Metro.
Over those, were they in the slide? Maybe we went through it really fast.
They are in a directive that we can read to you momentarily.
Let's make sure that's transparent in today's meeting.
Yep. And we'll be working with Metro to put more particulars around that and to roster the group. We haven't had a lot of conversation about it yet. I will say that the conversation and the process is only as good as its inputs. And so everyone today who brought a perspective and said that needs to be part of this is right. And we'll be working to make sure that all of those angles are known and considered by the group. I also want to say sitting on the work group is not the only way to participate. I have in my mind an idea that we will have a work group that is really grinding through, it's a Mike Jordan phrase, grinding through really dense, detailed conversations, but need to be informed and aided by the perspectives that we heard today and others to make sure they're asking the right questions and thinking of the right considerations.
Okay, that sounded good, but can we get back to the specifics on this?
Yeah. You have it? I don't have it. I have it.
Broadly, the categories,
It's been a heck of a week, so we're going to do some real-time, transparent dialogue here.
I'll read it exactly. Be it resolved that the Deputy City Administrator of the Vibrant Community Service Area is directed to work with the Metro Chief Operating Officer to convene a performing arts venue work group.
Sorry, is there a visual on this?
It was on one of the earlier slides.
I think it'd be
on
good if that
slide
was up right
6.
now. So while we're having the conversation, we can all see it. Thanks, Rebecca.
There you go. Thank you. The Performing Arts Venue Work Group, which will include staff from Metro and the City of Portland, representatives from the regional arts and culture community, including users and visitors of city-owned arts facilities and labor partners.
Okay, so we heard labor. We heard some of the people who were here today. I think we heard a theme of including big and small. I thought that was clear by Mark's testimony from Portland Gay Men's Chorus. And we also heard some testimony that said we should also have people who are users of the facility, meaning patrons. So, and I've always found that having board members of the organizations that aren't receiving money from government, that are charitable in their interest and excited as Portlanders to be arts enthusiasts, would be recommended at the table. Is that profile within your description?
It's within our intention.
Intention?
Is it within this language? We could probably parse it multiple ways. And if you wanted to be more specific about it, I would welcome that.
I think you all know I tend to really put a lot of effort into who's sitting at the table. I think that since I've been here for 4 years, I've noticed a lot of our work groups aren't balanced. So we end up, there's always a problem we want to solve. And yet if we have the same people who are in it, it usually doesn't move much. So I think we're at a pivotal time that we're asking for this council working with Metro, that we really ask for that balanced portfolio composite of those at the table. Yeah. And are we going to have a facilitator, an objective facilitator?
Yes.
Okay.
And we
And
think
so what
our,
will be
we
the
think our,
process so that city council could have updates so we can influence how this table's built?
how it's built is next step. So we're happy to work with you however you'd like to make sure that we have your suggestions and preferences and requests on board and to come back to you before we formally seat a group. I don't know, as between December 2024 and January 2025, when that is more likely to happen, but we will work with you as you like, at least through the end of this calendar year. And then I think we'll be looking to the next council and to Mike to help us figure out how to navigate their reports back, including as we go and when we have recommendations at the back end.
That's important. My life experience when I've done cross-sector work, it's so important to be really clear about the composite of this group. In fact, there's some practices where you have a committee, if you will, of a few people that would work with you to help recommend what that table would look like. And I would suggest that some of the people that testified today could be part of that small working group that could help the arts office. So it's not just on you, just on Merck, just on the people who we usually put in that position. But in fact, if we open that up to include some of the thoughts that we heard today, that would be my recommendation.
Yep.
And it's not have it just siloed within government, but we would include some people from the testimony we heard today to help with those suggestions.
Agreed.
Otherwise, I don't see this really doing this is about transformation. And so it's going to be change. It won't feel good at times, but if we're going to actually improve this 40-year-old model, it's 40 years old for a reason. There must have been some appetite to look at this, but for some reason for 40 years we haven't done anything about it. So I don't know how long I'll be here, so I'm going to speak my mind and say that we must have a new approach to who's sitting at the table making this decision. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I got that out. And we did mention labor. Okay, if anyone else has any questions, you can go through them. I wasn't expecting to be the only one that was curious this afternoon.
I have a baseline question. Could you give the 15-second version of why we went down this path to have city facilities managed through Merck? I mean, going back to the original consolidation,
Gonna phone a friend.
Not that should prescribe what we do going forward. I asked it without judgment. It's just every time we talk about Merck, there's always a question how did we get here? Or how did we start down this path?
So I was in high school in the 1980s. So I was not part of putting this together.
You didn't watch this closely
I did not.
at the time.
So Carlisle, Spectator
But wait,
Venues
since you've been
program-
in high school, you've been overseeing this?
No.
Okay.
Like it.
No. So Carlisle, Spectator Venues program manager. And City Administrator Michael Jordan can help with this answer as well, with a lot of long history with Metro and sort of the system. But I mean, I think really the big drivers were there was a lot of interest as Metro was kind of growing into a true regional elected government and taking on new roles and responsibilities and working with partners, including the city, to deliver the Oregon Convention Center for a variety of different economic reasons. And there was just a lot of interest about conversations about something called Resolution A, for example, which is this government's doing these things and the county's doing these things and the city's focused on this. And because of the energy around funding and developing and delivering the convention center, there was a lot of interest in sort of consolidating those regional venues and activity generators into sort of one government's kind of bucket of activities, and that was Metro. So I think that's how I would describe the sort of interest of, okay, Metro's building the convention center, we're all participating in that in various different ways, but it's going to be their responsibility to run. Let's also turn over the city regionally significant venues to that group, and there'll be synergies and cost savings and economies of scale by having one skilled group, some of whom are here today, who really focus on running those venues and looking out for them, overseen by Merck, which was a city commission and then became a Metro commission later. At the time that happened, it's important to remember the city actually had the stadium, now Providence Park, and Veterans Memorial Coliseum were also in that transition and handed to Metro to operate. And then over time, we pulled them out to do public-private partnership deals and redevelopment deals with the teams. But there were a number of different venues that were in that consolidation agreement in the late 90s. So, Mike, I don't know if you want to add anything.
You're cut off.
I guess so. Carl has it correct, but I'll just, by way of expansion, Multnomah County was also involved in this little group, if you will. The Expo Center came over. The Portland Zoo got involved at one point, and so there's been a general trend since 1989 at this consolidation of operation and oversight. And that's, again, where Merck has been involved and Metro. And a relationship with the city. The relationship with Multnomah County was really a give and sell relationship. And Metro ended up with all those facilities as Multnomah County was getting out of the local government business to some degree at about the same time.
And you're bringing up Resolution A, so that was a time where Multnomah County was financially constrained. It was trying to more clearly define what it wasn't doing, particularly in an urban setting, and that was relevant because I didn't initially connect the dots, but you're helping me there. So county at that time had more involvement, was facing financial problems, was trying to clearly define its scope, particularly in the urban setting, and backed away from certain...
Including parks and Glendevere Golf Course and a number of services that they held at the time.
Got it. Thank you. That's all I've got for right now, Commissioner Ryan.
Sure. Did you, in the presentation, maybe I missed it, what were actually, Carl, while you're here, I have one more question. I know, right? So you've been overseeing this big area for some time, and can you explain the difference between the spectator venues that are more like sports ball venues, if you will, and then there's arts venues? And it seems like we commingle them in ways that I don't understand, and maybe we've separated them a bit. Do you think we're on the right track by looking at them differently?
I think we're on the right track by looking at them more closely and being more engaged and involved in stewarding the assets, right? So I think that for many, many years, the city really had no staff assigned to the Portland 5 relationship at all. There was actually an audit in 2012, 11, something like that, that kind of was like, hey, the city owns these 3 facilities with 5 theaters in them. They're very important. They bring a huge amount of, economic activity and support all these wonderful, local arts organizations. And the city ultimately is responsible for these, owns them. They have been transferred to Metro for, administration. And the city is really, it's working, was essentially the at that time. I think the audit would be a little different now, and Metro's audit shows that just from a couple years ago. But at that time, the audit said, this is working. Metro's doing a good job managing these things. However, the city really needs to start paying more attention to these very valuable and important assets, and because it's just been far too much of a kind of arm's length relationship. And as the facilities age and the costs go up of maintaining them and capital needs and everything else, the city needs to know what's going on with these city-owned assets. And so after that audit, I think the city government at that time was kind of just looking for, okay, well, who's going to start to, pay more attention to this and work with Metro and Portland 5 staff and just essentially just pay more attention to Merck and what's going on. And that was handed to the existing spectator venues program, which was essentially running the spectator venues fund and looking out for and maintaining the agreements with the Timbers at Providence Park and the Blazers at the Rose Quarter for those arenas. So there were some synergies there. The conversation was kind of around facilities. And so, my group is a little bit more facilities oriented, a little less, arts programming oriented. So more about the buildings, less about what the buildings are doing. And, we have sort of stepped up over the years, I would say, not to pat
We've
ourselves
been a
on the
little
back.
laissez-faire until late.
To get more involved and to attend the Merck meetings and to attempt to support and advocate for those facilities. And so, the shift now to really address that more directly with a working group and some studies and the creation of the Office of Arts and Culture is, I think, a good progression.
Okay. And I think why we're here today is because it's become really urgent. We've heard from so many arts groups that this is untenable, like they're looking to do performances outside of the P5 venues. I would say that when I worked at the ballet and the aughts, we had the same concerns. So I'm kind of surprised the audit in 2012 didn't notice that. It's escalated over time. So because of that urgency, what does success look like? I mean, I'm hearing from people from organizations, it's going to be tough to move forward unless we urgently look at this and figure out a different contractual relationship with our arts partners. And all of us want the same thing. We want these to be vibrant facilities that are full of people that are, of course, igniting downtown, activating downtown. That's what we want. But if our arts organizations cannot afford our art houses, then we're really in a bad situation, which is why when we had the Keller versus PSU versus how we're going to build our facilities, all of that doesn't mean anything unless we figure this out, right? So what is the urgency in this process?
You want to try that one?
These are really good questions, Commissioner. I would say first, we do understand there's urgency, including in this year right now. And the Office of Arts and Culture just made an announcement on the grants that we are awarding to our general operating support organizations. And we included one time this year a subsidy to cover the rental increases for our nonprofit P5 users that are part of our general operating support cohort. So
that's some wonderful news you just exposed. Did they all know that?
They do. They got the email yesterday.
They're nodding their head. Great. When did this happen?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay.
Could I chime in just for 2 minutes, Commissioner Ryan? So we're at 2:47. We have a time certain for 2:45. Mayor Wheeler has requested that he be able to introduce the next items remotely, and he's jumping on a plane.
You're telling me to hurry up.
It's subtly,
okay.
yeah.
Got it. I'm almost done, okay. But this is, again, 40 years. So it's been 40 years since we've had this conversation. This is where the arts gets marginalized all the time. I don't like it. So what I also would like, Isaac, could you just come up and Shane for a minute? I know I didn't ask you about this. I'll be gentle, kind, all those good things. So both of you are newish. In Portland, we say you're new for like 2 years at least. And so you're newish and you came from other markets. Can you explain the other markets you came from? And are there some best practices that you can share with us at this time that we could be visioning as we head into this exciting process?
I've worked in 4 or 5 different markets around the United States, and there is no one perfect solution. There are always going to be issues in every market. I think what is unique about Portland is that we have government-owned facilities by the city of Portland managed by an entirely different governmental entity, and that is completely unique in any city. And I'm on the board of the League of American Orchestras, which is oversees all American orchestras, and I've talked to my colleagues, and that this is completely unique for Portland.
Explaining that the city owns it and then Metro operates it.
Exactly.
And that's something you have not seen across and you're You agree with that?
Correct. I've not seen that anywhere.
Okay, let's put a pin in that because that's important to get out there. Do you want to add anything, Shane? We're doing popcorn really quick here because I'm going to get in trouble.
Lightning round.
I think he covered most of it. I think that in some of the different operational models we've seen, there is an organization or a group of individuals that oversee operating a single facility or a small group of facilities, as opposed to trying to set operation and business models for a vast array of different types of venues. So I think the focus on having a group of individuals who manages a facility that's focused solely on the arts and the impacts of the arts and the changes within the industry, both nationally and locally, is important.
That was helpful. Charity, was that helpful? Yeah, you already knew this. Okay, thank you. I'll stop my questioning and wait for comments.
Commissioner Maps, you good? I'm fine. I think we're ready to call the roll on this resolution.
Maps?
I want to thank everybody.
You are,
I think your mic's off.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
there you go. There you go.
Okay.
Try that.
There you go. I think that one's working. I want to thank everyone who testified today and participated in getting us to the point of where we are, especially staff. I also want to recognize and thank Mayor Wheeler and Commissioner Ryan for advancing this important resolution. Our city's arts and culture venues are central to Portland's cultural fabric and play a key role in supporting our local economy. These venues not only provide a platform for our resident arts organizations, they also draw thousands of visitors and contribute millions of dollars to our local economy. Now, one of the reasons why we're here today is the Metro audit of P5, which highlighted critical areas where we can improve. Those include governance, maintenance, and operational sustainability. The work group created by this resolution is a vital step towards addressing these challenges while aligning our venues with Portland's broader cultural and economic development goals. There's also an opportunity to ensure that these historic and cultural sites are maintained for future generations and that they remain accessible for all. I look forward to seeing the work group's recommendations, which is why I vote aye.
Yes. First of all, thank you everyone for being here. This was a really important conversation, and I can just say that I can tell we're at the beginning of this. And so when we find out, as we build the table, there'll be more engagement with all of you, and we must get that right. And I know that like any table that you build, no one person is going to have the solution, but the room will be the wisdom. It's the room that's smart, and that's why we have to really be methodical about how we build that. And I look forward to any suggestions any of you have in terms of that. It's just basically our arts organizations are hurting, and they're desperate for some relief. I've heard this since the day when I got into office. All of us up here have heard that. So we know that our job is to take this seriously and to actually come up with a very much improved model. It's just time for a different approach. I have a lot written here, and I'm trying to be cognizant of that. So I'm going to end with, we look forward to the leadership that you will show on this issue, DCA Szymanski, and also your peers at Metro that were here today. It's nice to see you. I know that you're in new roles, some of you, and I appreciate that. And I hope that you'll open up with a lot of curiosity as you take this on. But we do look forward to your leadership, DCA Szymanski and Director Montez. You will be shepherding. You will be herding cats. You will hear very different perspectives. And your job is to synthesize that information, meet people on the edges, and make certain that we are not just rubber stamping something that we've all been experiencing for the last 40 years. That would be my advice. And in the spirit of transparency, I vote aye.
Gonzalez?
So appreciate Commissioner Ryan's leadership on this. It goes without saying that arts will be central to the reemergence of the city post-pandemic, and that we're setting ourselves on a path that really define the next generation of arts in the community. Look forward to what you bring to the next government and what guidance you can provide. I vote aye. The resolution is adopted.
Mayor Wheeler is logged into the meeting.
Okay.
Mayor Wheeler, call for your
Yeah, I'll
vote.
go ahead and cast a vote. And I sort of caught everybody by surprise here. Thank you, Commissioner Ryan, for bringing this forward. Thank you, Commissioner Gonzalez, for presiding in my absence. Thank you, everybody, for a great discussion. I'm very happy to support this. I vote aye.
Okay, thanks so much. Next up, we have two items that will be presented together. Both are first readings of non-emergency ordinances. After the presentation, public testimony for both items will then be called together. And with many folks signed up, please note that testimony will be limited to 2 minutes per individual. Rebecca, can we please hear items 951 and 952, and then I'll turn it over to Mayor Wheeler for some comments.
Item 951, amend district property management license code to update fees and district boundary to extend downtown Portland Clean and Safe Enhanced Services District property management license fee for an additional 10 years and to align with amended city charter approved by voters in Portland Measure 26-228. Item 952, authorize agreement for district management services of the Downtown Portland Clean and Safe Enhanced Services District by Clean and Safe, Inc. for an estimated amount of $58 million over 5 years.
I'm going to turn this over to Mayor Wheeler. Mayor Wheeler, if you don't mind holding on until Commissioner Ryan returns, just so we keep our quorum.
I think we have quorum.
No problem.
We do while he's here. We're going to lose Mayor Wheeler in a bit.
Yeah.
Take it away, Mayor Wheeler. I think you're good.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Today, we're asking council to consider two ordinances, which you just heard. They will repeal and replace Portland City Code PCC, Chapter 6.06 in its entirety. It will extend the Downtown Portland Clean and Safe Enhanced Services District, also called Clean and Safe District, for another 10 years. It will also authorize a new 5-year contract with the Clean and Safe District's district management service provider, Clean and Safe Incorporated. Following inquiries from both businesses and property owners adjacent to Clean and Safe's district boundaries, the Clean and Safe District is requesting a boundary expansion. In the spirit of embracing best practices, the Clean and Safe District is requesting amendments to their property management license fee rate structure that would simplify the rate structure and base it on publicly available metrics. These revisions would amend sections of PCC 6.06. Because these changes would expand the boundary to include new ratepayers and revise the rate structure for all new and existing ratepayers, Clean and Safe District is requesting the renewal of the Clean and Safe District property management license fee for another 10 years, effective beginning on October 1st of 2025. In addition to the Clean and Safe District amendments to PCC 6.06, the city is requesting the full repeal and replacement of PCC 6.06 to update this chapter to reflect the significant changes being implemented due to Portland voters approving Measure 26-228, referred to in this set of ordinances as, quote, the measure. On November 8th of 2022, voters approved the measure, which significantly amended the Portland City Charter. The measure generally established a mayor-council form of government with the city administrator. It created 4 new geographic districts with 3 councilors representing each district, and it called for a new system of electing city officials using ranked choice voting. City code currently reflects the commission form of government, and it must be updated to conform to the changes adopted by the voters in the measure, including reflecting new responsibilities of the legislation-focused city council, the executive mayor, as well as the city administrator. So as a result of all of that, Chapter 6.06 will require amendments to conform the measure, as well as other technical updates, such as correctly reflecting new city organizational unit labels or grammar and punctuation corrections. If approved, these amendments would go into effect on January 1st of 2025. Due to the anticipated changes of Chapter 6.06, which would expand the Clean and Safe District boundary and establish new license fee schedules on October 1st of 2025, the existing contract number 300007911, set to expire on September 30th of 2026, would need to be terminated on September 30th, 2025. That contract would then need to be replaced with a new contract to coordinate and coincide with those district changes. The new contract would replace the existing Clean and Safe Incorporated contract number 300079111 and go into effect on October 1st, 2025. With that, I'll introduce Devin Reynolds, the Enhanced Service District Program Manager, to present the item. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Devin Reynolds, Enhanced Service District Coordinator with the city's Community and Economic Development. I'd like to provide just a bit of background on the two ordinances before you today. In 2023, the city's Office of Management and Finance hired a consultant called BDS Planning and Urban Design to review the 2020 audit on the ESD program, assess the current state of the ESD program, and then make recommendations for improving the ESD program. Their assessment and list of recommendations were presented to the City Council in February 2024 as report number 157-2024 and was accepted unanimously. Upon City Council approval of these ordinances, multiple consultant recommendations will be implemented. The passing of Ordinance 1 of 2 will see the development of ESD assessments based on publicly available metrics, the continuation of inclusion of residential properties in ESD assessments, and the implementation of residential rate caps. The passing of Ordinance 2 of 2 today will see the continued establishing of guidelines on ESD governance, transparency, and representation requirements, primarily in the form of contractual obligations to hold annual ratepayer meetings. Additionally, the passing of Ordinance 1 of 2 will see amending of all of PCC 6.06 so that it conforms with the measure, better reflecting new responsibilities of the legislation-focused City Council, the Executive Mayor, and City Administrator. With that, I'll turn it over to the city's Revenue and Tax Specialist, Roger Copy.
Thank you, Devin. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. My name is Roger Copy. I'm a Revenue and Tax Specialist 5, the city's Revenue Division. My role in revenue related to the property management license fee is to acquire the data used to calculate the fee, determine who is responsible for paying the fee, and bill, collect, and disperse the fee revenues to the districts. While I will be walking you through the proposed rate structure changes being proposed in Ordinance 1 of 2 by the Clean and Safe District during the slide presentation, I want to take a moment to address the proposed repealing and replacing of PCC 6.06, reflecting changes initiated by the measure. The Revenue Division welcomes this opportunity to modernize Clean and Safe section of PCC 6.06, which will increase transparency into how the fees for properties in the district are calculated, update data sources, and simplify complex methodologies for administering the property management license fee in the district. The proposed changes to PCC 6.06 will accomplish the following: expand the footprint of the district, as discussed by others in this presentation, update the property tax year from which Multnomah County's assessed value of improvements are sourced from 1993 to 2023, which will necessitate the abolishment of several methodologies developed over the last 30 years, which will become obsolete. Simplify certain factors in the fee formula by aligning them with how the same factors are used to calculate the fee for properties in the Lloyd and Central Eastside districts. Eliminate certain fee formula factors that rely upon data that is challenging for ratepayers and the public to obtain or are inequitable. Adjust other factors to offset revenue losses resulting from the elimination of those factors I just mentioned. Reset the base year for calculating annual fee increases tied to inflation from 2001 to 2023. Add a cap of $200 per year for each residential unit in a condominium and for each apartment unit in a multifamily non-condo property that does not qualify as affordable housing. Increase the assessments for affordable housing in 2 stages, once in 2025 and again in 2030, to incorporate cumulative inflation since 2001. The fee for these properties are not subject to annual inflation adjustments and have remained unchanged for about 2 decades. Align how the assessed value of properties is determined for properties that undergo renovation or redevelopment with the much simpler methodology used by the Lloyd and Central Eastside districts. Make minor changes that favor ratepayers regarding the appeals process, fee assignment when ratepayers change, and temporary reductions in the fee for properties that have been demolished and are under redevelopment. Define more precisely the requirements for council to review the fee every 10 years for a continuation, also known as a sunset review. add a section to the code that requires the Revenue Division to review the availability of county assessor data every 10 years and request that the council update the base property tax year if data is expected to no longer be available. And lastly, implement charter reform, conforming edits, and housekeeping changes such as grammar and punctuation. Thank you very much, and I'll toss it back to Devin.
At this point, we've got a slide presentation that I'm happy to run. If I'm able to share my screen, I'll do so. And then we're going to have some opening remarks by Clean and Safe Board Chair Tessa Peterson.
Me? Yes. There we go. All right. For the record, my name is Tessa Peterson, and I serve as the chair of the board of Portland Clean and Safe, an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization contracted with the city to implement our downtown enhanced service district. We come before City Council this afternoon to review and discuss our petition for not only expanding the boundary area, but partnering with the city to bring needed updates and modernization to the city's ESD program. The Clean and Safe team was approached in May of 2023 by multiple businesses and organizations interested in becoming part of the downtown Clean and Safe district. These requests for inclusion in our district were complemented by a request from the city to explore expanding the north areas of our current boundary to include multiple locations owned by the city and ripe for new development. The Clean and Safe Board formed a dedicated expansion subcommittee later that year to work directly with staff and the city's ESD staff to develop a robust community engagement program and expansion process for current and potential new areas requesting inclusion in the district. Our board and the Clean and Safe staff have been diligent and methodical, working with the ESD staff to ensure that any expansion to our district boundary is guided by community support and available funding to ensure that the same level of service is provided to new areas and ensuring that our current service and resources are not diluted. Before I hand over the presentation to Mark, I want to stress to the city how passionate the board is in continuing to strengthen our strong private-public partnership and help the city's almost 50 other business districts work with the city to establish new and thriving ESDs. Most cities around North America have dozens of ESDs, or business improvement districts, and we feel strongly all our business districts should have the same opportunity to formally partner and work with the City of Portland to provide enhanced support and services to our businesses and residential communities. On behalf of the board, I want to thank the council and your staff for your tireless work and efforts to revitalize our downtown and your ongoing partnership and support. Mark, it's all you.
Is it on? Hey, there we go. Very good afternoon, Portland City Council. For the record, my name is Mark Wells. I am the Executive Director of Downtown Portland Clean and Safe, and thank you very much, Tessa, our board chair, for all of your work and support for me and my team. Thank you, Devin, for running the slide deck. I'm going to give a very brief overview of our program and services. I know that each of you are very familiar with that, as you've been very involved and supportive in our program, so thank you. But we may have people on this hearing that are not familiar with Clean and Safe or just getting engaged in this process. Next slide, please. So we are, as Tessa mentioned, Clean and Safe is an independent 501c3 nonprofit that has the contract with the city to provide these ESD services. We are the oldest ESD in the city of Portland, formed in 1988. We have currently 213 blocks in the downtown core and providing core services, safety, cleaning, and economic support, as well as a very robust and continually growing holiday lighting district. Next slide, please. So our core programs, downtown, again, public safety and the public right-of-way, as well as janitorial services, both are 24 hours a day. Our street outreach services through Bybee Lakes Hope Center, which is a new program, newer, we've been going for almost a year now, downtown with full-time street outreach teams working as closely as possible with our existing government and nonprofit social service providers. Place management and activations, our board made a goal when I came on almost 4 years ago of business and residential retention, and then supplementing that with active recruitment. Place management has been a staple of our programming and has been expanding with really good success. Community engagement and support, that's a big piece of what my team and I do. I had 3 outreach meetings just today for information and serving the really appropriate role of being the megaphone for the city's extensive planning for next week. And so a lot of community engagement. And then again, at Director Park, where we've been there for about a year and a half, directing the activities there. Next slide, please. Our partnerships are vital and key. And again, I really appreciate our board chair's comments about other districts having access to ESDs. As many of you know, I worked for the city. I've worked with almost all of our business districts when I was in crime prevention. And we are very excited for the ability for any business district to give Devin a call and say, hey, we're interested in this ESD thing. How does it work? And can we talk about it? But the key partnerships here that are listed up on the screen, I won't mention them all, but they're vital to our success. We serve as a partner, a force magnifier, being eyes and ears for the city, everything from simple livability issues like potholes all the way up to severe organized criminal activity that impacts our business. We could not do our job without these partnerships, and it's vital to our success. And it's just important to note there are systems in place now that were not in place when I started 4 years ago, and we are exceptionally efficient at providing service and relief to a lot of our very, very challenging conditions that sometimes we see. Next slide, please. Our public safety program, again, a complete revamp 2 years ago in October. We're now 24 hours a day. We are very passionate about safety first, customer service, and problem solving. Everybody that we interact with, we consider a client, a customer, and they are treated as such. Over 5,000 reports a month, very, very busy. And I'd like to point out with your support and as well as other government agencies in the private sector, we have stood up a dedicated hotel security district to really support our hoteliers and restaurateurs. And also, as of recently, a P5 security district, again, working with their existing security, working with their events coordinators to make sure that people can come down, have a good experience, not only at the venue, but also coming to and from. Both of those programs have taken our existing public safety program and just been able to give it additional staff and more of a focused attention to those particular industries. And we've received very good feedback from individual staff, line staff, as well as GMs and hotel ownership. Next slide, please. So again, a core programming of cleaning and street outreach. As you all know, we partner with Central City Concern. You'll see on the picture there at the top right, that is our Hope Van that's downtown 4 days a week. They conduct proactive outreach as well as direct referrals from myself, from my team, from our public safety and our cleaning team. And that's been a wonderful augmentation to our services to where we have a direct resource and a direct referral. Again, working hand in hand with Portland Street Response, CHAD, Project Respond, and all of the other agencies that have a footprint downtown. Next slide. So placemaking, I mentioned that at the beginning, something that we have really taken on. I'm very, very proud of the work that we've done. If you look at Director Park, working with the Parks Bureau and with the support of this council, really taking a park where not much was going on and really activating it. As you all know, from my old crime prevention days, the way you change a negative condition is you flood it with positive use. And we have done that, and I'm very proud. And not only for the park and really bringing folks back to the park to enjoy it, but it's the surrounding businesses and the ecosystem. And it's been that byproduct of taking the park, making sure that it's safe, making sure that it's activated. And then we know from the surrounding businesses that we interact and talk to all the time that it's had an increase in business and foot traffic and staff retention. I would like to point out too, last night we just had the auction for the Coraline Cat Trail. We had a fantastic live and online auction and raised $244,000 for OHSU Dornbecker's Children's Hospital. That event, Coraline Cat Trail, brought in tens of thousands of visitors to downtown. And that is a wonderful project that had great success in its goal of getting people to come downtown. But last night was kind of icing on the cake to make sure we could cut a nice check and help out that wonderful organization. Next slide, please. So again, the history of the expansion initiative, we are here today, months and months of time and partnership and coordination with the city. I'll go through these very briefly, but in the summer of 2023, I was approached by several organizations and schools saying, hey, we're right on your borderline. How do we get involved in clean and safe? And so that's when that process really started of looking at expansion, which has now morphed into a much more than just expansion, as both Roger and Devin just highlighted. It's kind of a revamp and a modernization of the ESD program, which we're highly, highly supportive of. Fall, winter of 2023, because of the solicitation for interest in being included in the Clean and Safe District, our board established a formal expansion committee. And then once that...
You're just like really loud and everybody's just...
And once Devin got on board, I gave him, I think, a week to get settled. And I said, hey, I've got a project. We've got a bunch of folks that want to know if we can get involved. And Devin has been was and continues to be fantastic in that partnership. Spring of 2024, we began modeling the expansion district boundaries and the rate structure. Again, weekly meetings, multiple meetings with both Devin and Roger and folks from your staff as well. We began the formal community engagement process, and again, that was a really good example of the partnership where Clean and Safe did our own formal outreach, and then also participating with Devin's outreach and the formal city outreach. And then in fall of this year, just recently, our formal petition packet coming to you, City Council, for consideration today. Next slide. So here you'll see the existing boundary is in shaded blue, and these are the expansion areas. And that is the current expansion zone that is up for consideration. Again, very methodical in reaching out to individuals. And then something that Steve, our operations director, and I are very passionate about is we've worked very hard to up our customer service, our response, our problem-solving abilities, and our board's been highly supportive. And when I've mentioned it, I don't want to dilute what we currently do because we've worked really hard to get where we are. But at the same time, we're very excited to provide these same services, especially to some of our schools, our religious institutions that initially were the initial solicitors of the potential expansion. Next slide, please. Again, the outreach piece was a great partnership working with Devin and the city. Clean and Safe conducted two of our own. We led the community engagement at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church and then at Lincoln High School, hand in hand with Devin and with the city. That was compounded by canvassing the expansion areas, going business to business, talking to the different owners, talking to residents. This was supplemented by using our existing outreach, our monthly newsletter, our social media platforms, and trying to connect and engage as many potential expansion stakeholders as possible. Next slide. As Tessa mentioned a little bit, I think it's just I want to wrap up by just saying that we support this modernization piece. We are fortunate enough, my staff and I, to go to the International Downtown Association Conference. We actually presented this year in Seattle in partnership with the city and with the Portland Police Bureau. I'll be very brief on this, but we presented with Portland Police. We had a room packed with our equivalents from all over the world. We had a gentleman from Cape Town, South Africa, that runs a brand new bid down there. And we were able to share our partnership with the Police Bureau and how we work together and how we stay in our appropriate lane and how we help and support the Police Bureau and vice versa. And by attending these conferences and really hearing and learning from our peers, we're realizing that, we confirmed that we need to update our ESD program. And again, as Tessa mentioned, we want to be one of many ESDs or bids in the city of Portland. You look at Seattle, that has 12, LA has something like 70. That private-public partnership, I believe, is going to help the city continue our revitalization effort, and it's vital to that program moving forward. And last slide, please. So a big thank you. As we all know, this will most likely be the last time I'm before this council. It's been my pleasure and a privilege to be before you, I think, 3 times this year. But the individuals, with your staff especially, we're on the phone sometimes daily, problem solving a host of really challenging issues. And that's everything from a hotel saying, I've got a $6 million walkthrough next week. How can we all partner and work on this? All the way up to all kinds of different facets. And we could not do our job without your staff. And I know their job would be a little bit more difficult if they couldn't reach out to my staff and say, hey, how do we problem solve this? Because that's how we get through it. So I just want to thank you for all of your support. And we are going into the election week next week, and we have a whole new form of government. And I just want you to know that Clean and Safe is here to do what we've been doing since 1988, to partner with the city, the new city council, and to continue the good work in the partnership, and especially with our revitalization effort, because it is light years better downtown. I walk the district every day, and we've got to keep the momentum going. So I'm looking forward to doing that with each of you and the new council. So thank you very much. Devin, back to you.
Thank you, Mark. As Mark alluded at the top of the presentation, most of you here know what an ESD is, know what Clean and Safe is. But for those of you who are with us today that may not have that background, I'm hoping to provide a little bit of that right now, and then get you up to speed on what the city has done to get us to this point at this point. So what is an ESD and what motivations are there for forming one? ESDs provide district-wide and district-specific enhanced services that are beyond the basic services provided by the city. Oftentimes, these district-specific enhanced services fall into the following categories: leadership, economic development, policy and advocacy, organizational management, planning, design, and infrastructure, public space management and operations, and marketing, communications, and events. What is the duration of an ESD? Well, City Council approves ESDs for 10-year life cycles that are governed by 5-year contracts. Who is a ratepayer of an ESD? Good question. Chapter 6.06 of the Portland City Code and Charter defines a ratepayer as someone who engages in property management activities within a district. Ratepayers typically include commercial property management companies, residential property management companies, and those could look like apartment management companies or HOA management companies. ESD program recommendations. So BDS Planning and Urban Design was hired in 2023 by the Office of Management and Finance to respond to the 2020 audit of the ESD program. BDS is an international expert in the ESD field and is a member of the International Downtown Association. BDS reviewed documents, interviews from the 2020 audit, conducted new interviews, researched industry best practices, and authored a report containing their assessment and recommendations for the ESD program. And that report was presented by BDS Planning to the City Council in February of 2024. BDS recommendations that are being implemented currently that are guiding Clean and Safe District's ESD proposal process include the development of consistent guidelines for formation, renewal, and/or expansion of ESDs, which is the ESD petition packet, which I have here. This is the process that Clean and Safe volunteered to actually undertake this year. This is on the city's ESD webpage. And also the development and maintenance of an ESD handbook, which was completed in September this year. So we actually have a handbook on how to do this stuff now. BDS planning recommendations that would be implemented if both ordinances are passed include, for ordinance 1 of 2, development of ESD assessments based on publicly available metrics, continuation of inclusion of residential properties in ESD assessments, and the implementation of residential rate caps. For ordinance 2 of 2, the recommendation that would be implemented would be the continued establishment of guidelines on ESD governance, transparency, and representation requirements, and that would be in the form of contractual obligations to hold annual ratepayer meetings. So I know this slide deck will be made public, and so these are all hyperlinks you can click on. You can click for the full BDS planning report. You can also click for the ESD petition packet and ESD handbook. But if you navigate to the city's ESD webpage, you can find these there. Okay, and then with this point, I'd like to go ahead and invite Roger Copey back up to cover the next 4 slides.
Devin, just to level set, the pieces that you just highlighted there, that was essentially what was presented in the February report?
Yes, BDS Planning presented their recommendations, and it included basically about 15 recommendations. We're well on our way to completing all of those, and then today's proposals will include, we'll basically tackle about 4 or 5 of those also.
Got it, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, Devin. Greetings again. I'll preface this by saying I'm a tax guy, I'm a numbers guy, and we're going to get really dense here in a second. So I hope everybody had a light lunch. All right. So I'm going to take the next few slides to discuss why we're asking that the rate structure for the Clean and Safe District specifically be modernized and updated and simplified. And then we're going to get into the actual numbers, what we're actually asking to have changed. So there are a few reasons we're asking to have the rate structure changed. First is data recency and availability. This refers primarily to the assessed value of improvements of a property or a building. We acquired that number from the Multnomah County Tax Assessor's Office. A few years ago, the county updated their tax software. Under the new software, they only retained information from 1996 forward. Anything prior to that, they archived on microfiche. The base year that we use to calculate the Clean and Safe fee comes from 1993. So even if I want to go in and confirm that we have the correct numbers for a property, I've been asked to submit a public records request so that the county can go into their archives and pull those microfiche numbers. So we want to update that to a year that's a lot more accessible, not only for me to calculate the fee, but for ratepayers to double check my work, and for the public, anybody who's out there who wants to double check our work as well. There's another factor that goes into the fee specifically in this district and has to do with elevator capacity. There is a publicly available database maintained by the state's Building Code Division where anybody could look up the elevator capacity of a building. if they know what they're looking for. I've learned how to do it. The challenge is the state records property information a lot differently than the county does. And it becomes very difficult for anybody to go into that database and look up a building and figure out how many elevators are in it and what their weight capacity is. So taking those two couple factors into account, transparency, right? It's a problem that BDS planning identified. It's very difficult for folks to essentially double check our work. And then also we want to just simplify the rate structure. Clean and Safe's formula has, I believe, 8 or 9 different factors in it. And within each of those factors, there's variations depending on when a property has been built, when it's been renovated. So it's really very difficult to, unless you know what you're doing, to figure out the fee for any given property. All right, next slide, please.
Can I ask a quick clarifying question? Here I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you said this in your presentation. I'm not sure if I fully absorbed it. What is the data on the county's microfiche? What's that? What number are we pulling there?
Oh, it's the assessed value of improvements for a property. So essentially, whatever the when the county figures out their property tax assessments for the year, they determine what the assessed value of a building is. So that's improvements. Improvements are just anything that's been done to a bare piece of land to make it usable.
Sure.
It's assessed value improvements.
Why are we anchored in, how do we choose the base? Why don't we choose the most recent number?
That data is enshrined in PCC 6.06. And so we've stuck with that for 31 years. And that's actually why we're looking to update it today.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so here comes the fun part. This is how we currently calculate the fee for any property in the Clean and Safe District. The first element is what we're just talking about, the assessed value of improvements at a property. It is 87 cents per $1,000 of assessed value, again, from 1993. Unless the building was constructed after July of 2001 or underwent major renovations. If that has happened, then we abandon that formula and rather go to a flat rate of $73 per square foot of the building if it's a business use, $68 per square foot if it's residential use. That's the first element. To that, we add an element that takes into account the actual size of the building. So that element is $5.52 per 290 square feet. It also applies to the size of the land parcel that the building is sitting upon. That's for business properties. Residential properties have a different rate, $5.52 per 725 square feet. To that, we add our next element, which is the passenger elevator capacity, which I've talked about before, 46 cents per pound. To that, we add either a surcharge of 2.5% or a discount of 2.5%. This only applies to business use properties. And this depends on how a property's assessed value is ranked. So the top 50 properties, they get a 2.5% surcharge. The 51st through 150th ranked property get a 2.5% discount. And then 151st all the way to the lowest ranked property sees neither a surcharge nor a discount. To that, we add a 15% cumulative cost of services adjustment. This was adopted back in the late 90s. At the time, there was no annual adjustment for inflation. And so what they were finding was from 1993 to 1999, cost of providing services was increasing, revenues were staying flat. So they needed to accommodate for that and bring the revenues up to continue providing the same level of services. So they'd add 15% to approximate cumulative inflation over those 6 years. To that, we add the holiday lighting and district amenities fee, which is 1.401 cents per square foot of the building. Again, that only applies to business use properties, and that is dedicated to putting up all the Christmas lights that you see in the parks and around downtown. To that, we add a 20.03% cumulative inflation adjustment from 2001 to 2011. So now if you look at the 15% they did before, plus a 20.03%, we've got inflation accounted for between 1993 and 2011. After 2011, we adopted an annual adjustment for inflation based upon the Consumer Price Index. All right, next slide, please. All right, that's where we are currently, and here is where we are looking to go. For that assessed value of improvements rate, we're asking that to be 97 cents per $1,000 of assessed value based on the 2023 property tax year rather than 1993. To that, we're asking that the rate for the size of the building be $5.52 per 290 square feet for both business and residential use. Remember, currently, there are two different rates, $5.52 per 290 square feet for business, $5.52 per 725 for residential. We're asking those to both be the same. That aligns with how it's done in both Lloyd and Central East Side. We're asking to just convert the rate used for the land from what I just described to a rate per square foot rather than a rate per block of square feet. So it's neither an increase nor a decrease, just a change. We're going to say 1.9 cents per square foot of land. Why? Because again, that aligns with how Lloyd and Central East Side does it, and it's worked well for them, so we're looking for consistency. We're looking to add a general surcharge of 18%. I'm going to get into that a little bit more on the next slide. Plus, we're going to add in, we're going to retain the holiday lighting and district amenities fee of 1.40 cents per square foot. There's a nuance to this one. That rate is based not upon the assessed value of the property, which increases over time. It's based upon the size of the building. So since that particular element was adopted about 20 years ago, it has tracked along with inflation every single year. If we don't adjust that by cumulative inflation since 2000, what will end up happening is that'll backslide by 20 years, and then the district will end up losing. They'll basically be working with time value money going back 20 years. So we have to adjust that to account for that cumulative inflation. Excuse me. And again, that's only for business use. Because we're looking to update the assessed value of improvements to the 2023 tax year, we need to jettison all of that accumulated inflation that we were using. We obviously don't want to pile that on top of the new assessed values of the property. So we're going to essentially start recalculating the annual inflation adjustments starting in 2023 that aligns with the new property tax year that we'll be using. We're looking to implement a cap of $200 per residential condo unit or $200 per market rate apartment unit. Affordable housing and clean and safe. It has a completely different way of calculating its fee. All this stuff we just talked about doesn't apply to affordable housing. Affordable housing that's managed by a for-profit entity, their fee is simply a certain dollar value per unit in that affordable housing building. And that's a lower rate for affordable housing managed by a nonprofit. So we're asking for the rate for affordable housing managed by a for-profit to be $58 per unit, and for managed by a nonprofit, $26.50 per unit.
I have a quick question there just before we move on from this. So the formula is changing above, but that would essentially charge more to residential, but the cap operates to lessen the impact of that?
Exactly. That's exactly correct.
And then what's the policy reason for charging nonprofits a lower rate than for-profit managers?
That I honestly don't know. So I apologize for not having the answer to that. I'm going to presume it's because nonprofits have less resources available to pay this fee.
Okay.
And just to clarify too, just to make sure that the residential cap would actually lower across the board for a majority of residents. They would actually see a cut in what they pay by $200 to $300.
Because of the cap comes in.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay. I'm good for now. Thank you.
Next slide, please. All right, so I'm going to try to summarize everything we just went over in the last two slides. So again, we're looking to update the base year for the assessed value of improvements from 1993, where we can no longer obtain the data readily, to 2023. We will actually review this every 10 years. I apologize for the error on the slide. But we want to review that every 10 years to ensure that that data remains available for the next 10 years so we don't end up in the same situation we are now. We will also eliminate that alternate formula for calculating the assessed value of improvements, the one that was $73 per square foot or $68 per square foot, because essentially it's no longer needed. We're updating everything to 2023. We are looking to increase that assessed value of improvements rate by 10 cents. It's 10 cents per $1,000 of assessed value, apologies, this says square feet. So 87 cents per 1,000 to 97 cents per 1,000. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we are looking to increase the residential rate for the size of the building for residential use to make it equivalent to the business rate. It's an increase because we're going to go from 552 per 725 square feet to 552 per 290 square feet. I have on here that we're increasing the lighting and amenities rate for inflation. Not exactly, because it already has been increasing every year with inflation, but we do have to take that number and multiply it times that cumulative inflation just to maintain the revenue stream for that element of where it is today. Again, we're changing the land calculation rate to a rate per square foot rather than a rate per block of square feet to align with the other two districts. We're going to get rid of the elevator capacity. It's too challenging for people to find. And that was actually something that the BDS planning keyed in on. I showed them how to do it and they still couldn't find it. So if they can't do it, very few people will. We're going to eliminate that 2.5% surcharge and discount. To an observer, that's probably inequitable, right? If you've got the top 50 properties paying a 2.5% surcharge, that's arguable. Maybe you can see that. When you get to the middle group of properties, they're getting a discount. When you get to the lowest group of properties, they're not seeing anything. So we just want to eliminate that altogether under the premise of simplifying the rate structure and making it a little bit more equitable. We essentially want to take that 15% cumulative cost adjustment that was built into the formula back for 1993 to 1999, keep that and bump it up by another 3%, make it 18%. The reason for that is that we have to find a way of offsetting these other losses to try to maintain revenue neutrality to some degree. We don't want the district obviously to lose revenue and have to curtail their services as we go through the simplification process. And again, as I mentioned before, update the base year for the annual inflation adjustment from 2001 to 2023, and of course, add that cap that I talked about before. And that was a lot to unpack. Thanks for hanging with me. And I'm happy to answer any questions later on in the session if anybody needs any more clarification on this.
Well, I might take a check here. So, I mean, this is complicated to say the least. Yes. And to translate it to taxpayers, I mean, what is your 30-second version of what you just went through? It's helpful to see the detail. It sounds like modernization and simplification are two components. But how do, Dylan, I may need some help here because we needed your detailed description, but just simple explanation of what we're intending to do with this.
Good question. Essentially, what's happening is, so if you think of all these different measures as levers that you can pull or lower, or you can raise or lower, right? We are eliminating a few of these levers just outright.
Simplifying a little bit.
Exactly. So we're having to tweak other elements of the formula just to offset that. So basically, we're streamlining, getting rid of some stuff that we can't get access to easily anymore, updating the tax year to 2023 for relevancy. And so we're just having to tweak things just to keep Clean and Safe as close to revenue net neutral as we can, so that they're not losing revenue and they can keep and maintain the services that they're currently offering. So it's just simplifying, getting rid of some things and moving some things up to offset that.
Are there any clear winners or losers in the change in formula?
I think it's fair to say that everyone's going to see a different impact. Some may see no impact. Some may see a hike in what they've been paying, and some may see a decrease in what they're paying. I think probably across the board, I think it's fair to say the residents will probably see the most significant decrease in what they have been paying.
Okay, I'm good for now. Good. Yeah.
To follow up on that, first of all,
yes,
thank
sir.
you. You are a technocrat, and it's easy to follow on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah. And so it looks like there was a lot of cleanup that had to take place here.
Yes.
And I admire someone that can dive into details like that.
Thank you.
And I bet you do too, Dylan. So what was like a core problem you were trying to solve when you were doing this scrub?
Excuse me. The core problem, really what kicked it off, was the inability to get that assessed value of improvement information from the county anymore.
That helped.
I came to this program about 5 years ago, and as I worked through it, I here and there will audit a property, make sure that we've got the right information on it. Most of the time it looks great. Sometimes maybe we had a data entry error or whatever. It got to the point where I could no longer look up that information from 1993. I couldn't audit a property anymore. And so that was really the biggest driver, I think, because that assessed value of improvement factor is the largest contributor to the fee. The elevators are second. And so ensuring that a ratepayer or a member of the public or anybody on this council, they wanted to look up how much this building, I think this building's in the district right now or not, I apologize, the next one over, has to pay. The idea is to have that information more readily accessible to anybody who wants to look it up.
Transparency, access. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Epps?
Sure, I have a quick question. I think in the slide, can we go back to the slide on the proposed formula? Can you tell us more about that general surcharge for 18%?
Yeah, absolutely. If we were to abandon that, if we were to say that, that its original purpose was to account for cumulative inflation from 1993 to 1999, well, we don't need that anymore. Really, we don't, right? And so normally we would go ahead and get rid of that. But as I mentioned before, we have to find a way that when I mentioned that the assessed value of improvements is the largest contributor to a fee, the elevator capacity is the second largest. An average elevator has a capacity of about 3,500 pounds. When you're charging 46 cents per pound of capacity, that's $1,700, $1,800 to a building's fee for a single elevator. You start, knocking out several hundred elevators, all of a sudden the district revenues take a huge hit. So we have to find a way of offsetting that. Like Devin mentioned, there are lots of levers we could have pulled. We could have adjusted the assessed value of improvements rate. We could have adjusted the square foot of improvements rate. We could have adjusted all over the place. What we opted to do, rather than take one element like the assessed value of improvements rate and jack it up from 87 cents per thousand to $10 per thousand, and they just look shocking if we did something like that. We wanted to try to distribute it elsewhere in the formula. And so we felt one of the better ways to do that, since people are used to seeing that 15% already in the formula, is just essentially retain that part of it, essentially repurpose it from an inflation adjustment to offsetting revenue losses elsewhere in the formula.
Okay, thank you, that's helpful.
Okay, I know Clean and Safe covered their public outreach and engagement, so I'd like to cover ours as a city. So what our public engagement looked like were postcards that were mailed out to about 596 ratepayers. That included the existing ratepayers and the proposed ratepayers as well. That went out on August 23rd. That postcard directed recipients back to the city's ESD webpage, where they can learn about the 2 upcoming public meetings, also find out how, if they so chose to file official opposition, how to do that. We put notification, obviously, on the city's ESD webpage. We hosted 2 hybrid public meetings in September alongside of Clean and Safe, where we presented their ESD petition packet and proposal, and then also walked every person through how to actually navigate the city's ESD webpage, and also how to file official opposition if they were a ratepayer as well. Let's see here. We also gauged that ratepayer opposition from August 23rd through September 30th. There was a link on the city's ESD webpage tied to the ESD petition packet. That was open for over a month. Let's see here. We also mailed out council notification letters on October 8th to the same postcard recipients as well, notifying them of today's hearing. And then we also emailed over 100 recipients who signed up on the general city ESD webpage just to stay up to date on the ESD program in general. And then obviously made the city council hearing today and the fact that you can provide public testimony available to all recipients and the public as well. So again, this presentation will be public, so you can click. This is all hyperlinkable. So to click here, you can find the Clean and Safe's ESD petition packet online. It's been up there since August 23rd. Also, the city, we did collect official ratepayer opposition to the Clean and Safe district's proposal for over a month on the city's ESD webpage. To file official opposition, you had to be an official ratepayer as defined by City Code 6.06. There are specific parameters as to who a ratepayer is. At the close of the official ratepayer opposition collection period on September 30th at midnight, only 3 ratepayers voiced opposition that way. And then we also made it folks aware they can support or oppose and make their voice heard here at the City Council hearing. So as a reminder today, what we're here to do is Clean and Safe District is asking the city to, in regards to Ordinance 1 of 2, expand the ESD boundaries by approximately 60 blocks, revise assessment formula, simplifying it and basing it on publicly available metrics, implement a residential rate cap for all residential properties, and renew the property management license fee for a 10-year life cycle. In regards to Ordinance 2 of 2, Clean and Safe is asking for the authorization of a new 5-year contract for different district management services. If those 2 ordinances are approved, these changes would go into effect on October 1, 2025. And then as a reminder, Ordinance 1 of 2, the city is asking for the full repeal and replacement of PCC 6.06 to align with city charter reform and voter-approved measure 26-228. If approved, that change would go into effect January 1, 2025. And with that, I yield back to the mayor.
I think we've lost him, but do we have additional testimony, invited testimony?
We do have invited testimony, yes.
All right, let's go ahead and go with that. Yeah.
First, we'll have Jim Mark from Melvin Mark Companies.
Thank you, commissioners, and thank you, Mayor, for giving me this opportunity today to present why I'm in firm support of the expansion of the CSD. My company, the Melvin Mark Companies, has been a Portland company, family-run company for now 80 years, and primarily in the downtown business core. We were also instrumental in the original creation of the CSD with research around the country and really finding, something that was uniquely Portland and supportive of growing downtown. I'm also been on the Clean and Safe board now for 5 years, and I currently am on the executive and them secretary of Clean and Safe. And just to go over, and some of this is a repeat of some of the testimony, but I think it's important to hear. These enhanced service districts are an internationally recognized best practice, and it's a public-private partnership to provide extra cleaning, safety, and economic promotion of cities. Portland has the fewest number of ESDs among our peer cities and has never expanded the ESD in the city's history as far as we could find. By approving these ordinances, the City Council is providing a pathway for business districts throughout the city to establish organizations dedicated to the specific needs of their neighborhoods. As downtown Portland continues to recover from the pandemic and turn the corner in interrelated homelessness, addiction, and behavioral health crises, downtown Portland Clean and Safe has filled the gaps in the public safety program system. Downtown Portland Clean and Safe's public safety coordinators provide a safety presence within our district 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And our safety coordinators are often first responders to incidents, which include challenging calls for acute mental health crisis and physical injuries related to violent crimes. The response times average 3 minutes. Everyone in the city should have access to services and support offered by Clean and Safe. Downtown Portland Clean and Safe partners with Central City Concern for our janitorial program, which provides employment for formerly incarcerated or homeless Portlanders. Due to the proliferation of trash and drug paraphernalia stemming from street camping, our janitorial team has consistently gone above and beyond for our Central City in recent years. In addition to providing cleaning and security services, Downtown Portland Clean and Safe has also accelerated its economic development and placemaking efforts. Downtown Portland Clean and Safe has held hundreds of events at Director Park, placed 9 pop-up shops within vacant storefronts, and dispersed $75,000 in grants to businesses entering new leases downtown, all within the last year. And last year, the city, county, and the state and TriMet partnered with the hotel industry to establish 2 Clean and Safe hotel security districts. That program was so successful, it has been expanded to cover entertainment and tourism venues in the Central City. Downtown Portland Clean and Safe is proud to partner with both the private sector and the City of Portland to dramatically improve livability across our district. It is consistently working with organizations like Travel Portland, Pioneer Square, and local governments to ensure successful events, solve public space management issues, and provide support to organizations invested in revitalizing downtown. ESDs should be celebrated, supported, and expanded as part of Portland's revitalization and to promote the success of not just the Central City, but business districts across Portland. Thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Jim. Next, I'm sorry.
Go right ahead.
Okay. Next, we've got Will Rasmussen from Miller Nash LLP.
And Dylan, just in the interest of time, we can just keep them moving. My colleagues will raise their hand if they want to intercede. So.
Copy that. Oh, it's also Devin.
Okay, sorry, Devin.
No problem.
Long week.
Thank you. Will Rasmussen from Miller Nash. I'm the current chair for Portland Metro Chamber, and I'm just here today to speak in favor of these proposals. Downtown Portland Clean and Safe is absolutely vital to the health of downtown, to its economic vibrancy, to its safety, and to the recovery that started in Portland. I'm just going to share 2 personal examples of what they do and how they show up for our community. First, one of my daughter's 3rd grade classes traditionally does a trip down to see the bridges in downtown Portland, and that had to stop for 2000 and 2001. But when it was her year to be in 3rd grade, they were going to come back down and come to my office in Big Pink, where you can look out and see several of the bridges and talk about the architecture and the engineering, and a cool opportunity for kids to learn. Some parents expressed concern because there was a few violent crimes down around Big Pink before they were going to come down, and said, yeah, maybe we should wait till 2023. We were able, as a ratepayer, to call Downtown Portland Clean and Safe and explain the situation, and they said they would be glad to send 4 people down just while the kids were getting off the buses and into Big Pink, then out of Big Pink and back onto the buses, so parents that were worried could feel safe. That provides access to downtown, to an important part of our community. We want kids downtown. I want to be able to bring my kids downtown. And I don't think it would have happened without Mark Wells and Downtown Portland Clean and Safe showing up and just being there. So the expansion of this service is a big win for the city. Secondly, I have the chance to work with Central City Concern on several fronts. They're awesome. They have the best experience of anybody I know of over the last 30 years in our city, trying to get folks who are addicted to drugs or who are homeless or experiencing mental crisis stabilized, then in housing, then into a job, then self-sufficient. Their full cycle. We need to save these people's lives. And people talk about the safety part of downtown Portland Clean and Safe, but the cleaning part is equally important. DPCS contracts with Central City Concern to hire the people and provide the folks that go around and provide the enhanced cleaning services downtown. I see them pushing trash cans around and picking up trash every single day when I walk around downtown. Most or all of those people are folks that have received supportive services from Central City Concern. So when you talk about, what kind of job opportunities somebody that's coming out of addiction, somebody that's in recovery has, lots of times it's near nothing. The jobs that Central City Concern and Downtown Portland Clean and Safe provide there is that cycle in our city. It is that first job for somebody who otherwise might be unemployable in our city and is starting the recovery that we're seeing. Thanks.
My name is Sam Raj. I'm the executive pastor at First Baptist Church of Portland. Thanks for having me here. I have something written down so that I don't forget what I have to say. I'm here to express my strong support for downtown Portland Clean and Safe proposed expansion to include the West End area. As an organization deeply invested in the vitality of our city, we have faced significant challenges in the recent years due to the deteriorating conditions in our part of downtown. Issues such as trash, graffiti, employee safety concerns, and theft have all contributed to a sense of decline in our part of the urban core. While we remain committed to our city, we recognize that addressing these livability issues require collective actions. Businesses and organizations located in downtown need support to continue fostering vibrant and economical, resilient communities. The benefits of a clean and safe central city extends to everyone, employees, visitors, residents alike. Downtown Portland Clean and Safe has consistently demonstrated its effectiveness as an administrator of cleaning and security services and is also known for being responsive to the needs of the ratepayers. The Downtown Portland Clean and Safe, also known as DPCS, security program operates 24/7 using voluntary compliance and de-escalation as primary tools. Since the launch of the Hotel Safety District program in September 2023, there has been a notable decrease in reported crimes within the Clean and Safety District. DPCS security personnel have saved several lives by acting as first responders to overdoses, showcasing their commitment to public safety. Additionally, DPCS contracts with Central City Concern's Clean Start program, providing formerly homeless or incarcerated Portlanders with new employment opportunities. This program ensures that each sidewalk within the Clean and Safe district is cleaned at least once a day, maintaining a high standard of cleanliness. This standard is noticeable whenever entering and exiting the DPCS district downtown. DPCS also manages a series of downtown marketing and activation programs to recruit new businesses into their district and support existing businesses within the district. DPCS has directly hosted and offered its services in support of hundreds of events, bringing visitors to shops, eat, and play downtown. Currently, the valuable services provided by Downtown Portland Clean and Safe are limited to their existing service boundaries within the core of downtown, despite many other areas in need of similar support remaining underserved. The proposed expansion would extend services such as daily cleaning, 24/7 security, and community outreaches to areas of downtown that are currently outside of this district. Expanding the DPCS service will distribute the benefits of a cleaner, safer, and more vibrant environment are felt throughout a larger portion of our city, ultimately supporting the well-being of all who live, work, and visit downtown Portland. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leanne Ray, and I'm the principal of St. Mary's Academy, located on Southwest 5th and Market. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to offer testimony here today for the expansion of the Clean and Safe corridor to include St. Mary's, as the safety and cleanliness of our community are paramount to me. We have been educating young women in downtown Portland since 1859, and on November 7th, we'll be celebrating our 165th anniversary. We educate 565 students. We have 100 staff and faculty members and countless parents and volunteers coming to our school daily. At St. Mary's Academy, we have always believed that this great city is our classroom, and educating students in the heart of Portland is a privilege. Our location has allowed us to connect curriculum with Portland's museums, galleries, concert halls, theaters, fountains, sports fields, businesses, and service organizations. We have benefited from the Clean and Safe corridor in its current configuration. We have been able to continue to explore these opportunities because of that safety. I should also mention that we use an awful lot of coffee shops, restaurants, and food carts. More than 60% of our students take TriMet to school, and we utilize the Portland streetcar and TriMet for service trips and field trips. Over the past 4 years, we have seen an enrollment dip of 10%. When surveying families that did not choose St. Mary's, we have found that more than 30% of respondents listed location as the primary factor for choosing a different school. We have struggled. We have struggled with cleanliness of our streets, open drug use during and after school hours, camping on and near our property, countless fires, discarded drugs and weapons, and graffiti. It has been nearly impossible to offer predictably safe and clear access to our building and parking lot, which are necessary to foster a vibrant learning environment. We know that we offer the best education for women in Portland, and firmly believe that inclusion in the Clean and Safe corridor will benefit our school by providing necessary janitorial and safety services. It will continue to allow us to confidently say that this great city is our classroom and your daughters will thrive there. And we know that if the nearly 1,000 people we bring to downtown Portland every day are thriving, then Portland is thriving. And I am deeply, deeply grateful that you are taking this up today and considering this option for our school. Thank you.
Can I just clarify? So you're currently just outside the district and you would like to be a part of it?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Yasmin Ibarra. I'm the Political Director for SEIU Local 49. Our union represents the hardworking janitors and security officers who work in the downtown core, and also here in the city Portland offices. Our union strongly supports the proposed expansion of the Downtown Clean and Safe program. The Downtown Clean and Safe program is a proven model. Its security staff is in direct radio contact with the Portland Police Bureau, something that no other security company has. These security officers have saved over 140 lives by acting as first responders to overdoses. This is a hard job that deserves respect and recognition. We believe the Clean and Safe program is a partner in raising job quality standards for the security officers who patrol the streets. It contracts with Garda World Security, whose employees are members of our union. Having a union fosters respect on the job for frontline workers and guarantees wage and benefit standards. Clean and Safe is improving our urban environment in ways that are transparent and accountable. These traits are paramount when considering public spaces. Its security and cleaning programs operate with clarity about leadership and oversight, scopes of work, geographic boundaries, rate structures, and other aspects the public deserves to know. In the past several years, Portland has seen the private security industry boom and proliferate throughout the city. The Enhanced Service District model provides an ideal structure for private security firms to enhance community safety, first responder coordination with transparency, accountability, and collaboration. It has allowed for public and private resources to be invested to expand the security services provided by Clean and Safe and Garda World. It's critical that we invest and expand the ESD model and discourage other models that do not meet these transparency standards. SEIU is concerned that there are other private security companies have encouraged the formation of consortiums that claim to offer similar services as enhanced service districts, but appear to be designed to simply get around the transparency, accountability, oversight, and public interaction standards that ESDs commit to. In some cases, this unaccountable approach to security has resulted in allegations of misconduct by a private security firm, including excessive force, unlawful exclusion aimed at our unhoused neighbors, and potential misrepresentation to law enforcement. Downtown Clean and Safe is a model of both transparency and respect for the rights of security employees, the public, and the community spaces they service. SEIU hopes to partner with the city to expand and grow the ESD model throughout the Central City and all of Portland in the future. Our downtown needs the responsible, transparent, and effective partnership that Clean and Safe provides to make our streets more vibrant and welcoming. I urge you to support this proposal. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Kelly Mullen. I'm the president of Safeway Albertsons of the Portland Division. I'm here today to express my strong support, and I'm going to underline strong support, for the downtown Clean and Safe expansion to include our 10th and Jeff location, and quite honestly, I would love for it to expand to include our Pearl location as well. The downtown that I remember from 2020, a vibrant, fun city. I took a 2-year hiatus and moved to Northern California and came back in 2023. The city that I came back to is vastly different than the city that I left. And I'm very hopeful, and I know with the support of Clean and Safe, it's going to help to get our city back to the city that I know and love and remember. As an organization, we are definitely invested in making it work inside of the city, as it is my responsibility to never create a food desert inside any of the areas that we operate. As an essential grocery store and pharmacy, we have faced significant challenges in the recent years due to the deteriorating conditions. Quite honestly, drive around our store, look at it in the evening hours. It's painful, and I know it's painful for all of you. The issues such as trash, drug paraphernalia, theft, graffiti, you name it, it comes to life inside and around our store. And we know that these safety concerns are an impact not only to our associates, but also to our customers. Having Clean and Safe expand to our locations is going to help us not only with the safety that is my #1 priority, but also with associate retention. We want our associates to feel safe coming into work. I can honestly tell you that I've made some draconian efforts inside of my store to make it safer for my associates since I returned in 2023. And I say that because I closed an entrance. I reduced my store hours of operations because my associates did not feel safe. So by expanding Clean and Safe, that's going to help us to be able to make our associates and customers feel better. As I think about what Clean and Safe does, a simple cleaning of the sidewalks, it's simple. but it doesn't happen overnight. And we, quite honestly, have expanded our own power washing and cleaning, but that doesn't include the public sidewalks. So having that is something that is so simple and really a game changer for our associates and really our customers and what they feel coming into a grocery store where you're buying food for your own personal pantry. As I think about also really the DPCS security personnel, they do act as first responders. Unfortunately, my store pharmacists are also having to act as first responders, and on several occasions have had to administer Narcan in and surrounding our stores. So having this additional support takes that stress away from my store associates and really helps us to really take care of the community and their food and pharmacy needs along the way. I can honestly tell you, we remain committed. We want to be part of the solution and make our city thrive, and partnering with Clean and Safe is going to help us to do that. I'm going to say thank you in advance because I'm hopeful that you all will support the expansion of the Clean and Safe program because it's going to help essential businesses such as ourselves, as well as those that surround us, and perhaps bring back businesses to the city, because I can tell you in my own complex, there's multiple businesses that are vacant. So thank you in advance. I look forward to hearing a yes support for this.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is James Jesse, and I'm Chief Sales Officer at Travel Portland. I am pleased to be here to express Travel Portland's support for the expansion, renewal, and fee adjustments for the Downtown Portland Clean and Safe District as proposed to you today. Travel Portland is proud to have a seat at the table with the board of Downtown Portland Clean and Safe for many years, and as you know, our close partnership with them and with you have never been more impactful than it has been over these last few years. For that, we are truly grateful. In the past year, the team at Clean and Safe lined up public and private partners to respond to the concerns of hoteliers by increasing operations and support in a designated hotel safety district. I sincerely thank you for joining that coalition as well. It's almost impossible to count through all the ways that Clean and Safe supports positive experiences for visitors, and we at Travel Portland cannot imagine how we would have made it through the past few years without them as fellow advocates and partners. Thank you for continuing to show up to Portland as a safe, welcoming, and desirable destination, and thank you for the support of this proposal before you today. Thank you, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Andrew Hone. I'm a registered lobbyist with the Portland Metro Chamber, President and CEO. The Chamber represents the largest and most diverse network of businesses in the region. We are pleased to add our full support of the expansion that is before you today. This is, once again, a historic opportunity for the Council to continue executing on the vision and plans laid out in Advance Portland that center enhanced service districts as the foundations for public-private partnerships in revitalizing our central city. The expansion and changes will set up downtown for continued recovery and provide the future council and mayor with a partner that has common sense boundaries and transparent, common sense rate structures. This will undoubtedly help downtown, but the largest beneficiaries of these changes should be the neighborhood business districts, who will find barriers lowered to forming their own ESDs. Everyone should have the ability to form an ESD if they choose. While we have all acknowledged that the audit of the city's ESDs program was initially flawed, some of the tenets of that audit and the city's response to it, we wholeheartedly embrace and are eager to advance its policy objectives in concert with you and the ESD coordinator. I want to elevate one concern that we have and ask for the council to direct staff to work directly with Downtown Portland Clean and Safe to solve it over the next year in the lead up to the rate change and new boundaries. Commissioner Gonzalez, you brought this up earlier. It should be no secret that the commercial real estate industry is not doing well in our city. The rate change and expansion will undoubtedly put strain on the financial capacity of these owners and properties impacted through these changes. Despite this, it should be noted that the commercial real estate industry is here with you today, committing to this expansion and committing to the rate changes, which are a clear direction from the previously mentioned audit and a policy priority for the city, and one that we agree with. This expansion should not create an undue burden in its initial years as the core continues to recover. Our request is that the council or mayor's office provide guidance to the coordinator and the Revenue Bureau staff to create a financial on-ramp program that provides resources and relief that help to mitigate burdens that might be too much for some to shoulder in the initial years. I don't believe this requires an amendment at all today, of course. We just asked to be able to work with Devin, who has just been absolutely remarkable to work with, and the EST team at Downtown Portland Clean and Safe to develop that on-ramp system. Thank you again for your commitment to economic recovery. We urge you to vote yes on both items before you today.
Thank you. Does that conclude your presentation?
It does.
Okay, colleagues, before we move into public testimony, are there any questions or comments at this time? I'm only anticipating some questions, so I might ask Attorney Yoder a quick question on the existing Clean and Safe contract. What are the termination rights for the city under the existing Clean and Safe agreement?
Under the current agreement, there's 3 abilities to terminate the contract. One would be the city has kind of sole discretion to terminate the agreement for any reason, and then at that juncture, it would just pay the monies that are due for the work that's been done. The other is by mutual agreement. The parties can decide to split ways. And the third is if there's a material breach by either party can end the contract.
Okay, so it's mostly just level setting what we're doing today. I think there's some questions about bringing this when it was brought, and what is the flexibility of the next government with respect to the Clean and Safe relationship. And as I'm hearing it, it's terminable on 30 days notice by the city.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Let's let's go ahead and bring forward public testimony. 2 minutes.
We have some questions.
Oh, did you have some? Go ahead. Oh, Carmen, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. You asked one of my questions, so I just have a couple other. And I apologize for joining a little late, and I appreciate the presentation and the testimony so far. But just for the benefit of the public, and again, just because we're getting some questions, I want to be able to explain this to inquiries that we get. So the consultants we hired made a number of recommendations that you referenced, and I understand what we're bringing forward today. Are these the totality of the recommendations that were made? Were they all acted upon? And were there some that you amended? I'm just trying to get a picture of pulling the thread through from the recommendations we heard early in the year.
Really good question. Yeah, actually, there were 15 recommendations made by BDS Planning. At this point, there are only 4 right now that have not been fully enacted, and 3 of those would be enacted if these ordinances are approved. The last one would be a procurement topic that I don't think is going to be an easily solvable one.
Okay. And then one of the presenters mentioned that one of Clean and Safe's programs helps to fill empty storefronts. Can you share just a little bit more about that?
Yes. I'm going to invite Mark Wells back up to talk about that. He'll have more specificity on that.
Thank you. Hello, Commissioner. Yes, we run a couple different programs. One is a small business grant. We just started that this year where we award, I think we had 3 up to $75,000 total, and that was to help businesses moving into a new space with tenant improvements and so forth. And then the other part is our pop-up shop. This is an annual program. For example, this year we have 9 existing businesses that will be moving into a storefront downtown in our district. And we usually work with the landlord to provide, usually it's 3 months of free rent. So that basically they can try their business in a brick and mortar downtown. And we average probably, I would say, 2 to 3 out of those businesses will end up signing a lease and staying downtown. So those are our 2 small business generators. And that's on top of working with the Downtown Retail Council, which my colleague Sydney Mead works with. And that's a group of all of our downtown retailers working on everything from promotion, retention, recruitment, and really supporting our small businesses and our downtown retailers.
Great, thank you. And just last question, just so that I understand the question about termination of the contract and the timing of this coming now versus next after the form of government transition. So where are the opportunities then for the next council to reflect or be updated or make changes. So how will that happen if they want to do that?
Good question. So if, let's just say, for example, today or November 13th, if both ordinances pass, it does give, with the new form of government, it'll give city administrator authority to enact or to approve contracts. So just because you approve, or if you approve the second ordinance authorizing a new 5-year agreement, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to take the one that was presented in this ordinance as that's the exact one we're going to do. There's still some ability to tweak that before it's actually signed next year.
Thank you. Thanks for the answers.
You're welcome. And also, Commissioner Rubio, on the city's ESD website, just for full transparency, we do have an update at the bottom of the page that actually has like a grid of the 15 BDS planning recommendations and where we are as a program on that. That was put up there on the website as of, I believe, July. So there's been some improvements since, but that is there for full transparency.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Ryan, then Commissioner.
I think it's, Mark, it's good that you're up there too. So I'm really excited about the testimony around the importance of the clean side and the jobs, the workforce. It's really a big part of our homeless strategy, getting people to go from dependence to independence. I can't think of anything more important than workforce coupled with recovery work. And so what I wanted to have verified, and I know your partner at SEIU had departed, but the contracts that you have with Central City Concern, those are union contracts, correct?
Absolutely, Commissioner. Part of our contract renewal in 2021 was to implement as a ESD, is basically a contractor to the city, is to follow the city's sustainable procurement contracting policies, which includes labor peace and ensuring that those industries, janitorial and security, that are in that sustainable procurement process have to be in compliance with the labor peace requirements. That doesn't mean they have to be unionized. They have to be in compliance with that. But both of our vendors are currently unionized with those unions.
And in compliance with labor peace.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
We were very diligent and passionate with the council at the time to ensure that, because that was a requirement.
Appreciate that.
And tagging on to that, the one BDS planning recommendation that we may not be able to tackle was actually the recommendation to allow flexibility for ESDs to not have to comply with the city's procurement and labor peace agreement. Reason being is that they saw inequitable issues, for example, with potential new smaller ESDs that may not have the budget to afford a more expensive cleaning or public safety program, that it may have some undue impacts on them financially. So that is the only BDS planning recommendation that we may not be able to crack, just so for full transparency on that.
Okay. And then one final question is, I noticed the waterfront park was not part of the expansion in Borders. Correct. And I know when we got to know each other a little bit better when we were looking at Director's Park and I had the Parks assignment, and I've seen the benefits of that partnership. And we know the waterfront park is becoming more activated with events and even ticketed events. Have you been in any conversation with Parks about the waterfront park?
No, not for that specific part, and it's good to review that every year. And then to Commissioner Rubio's question, every year, and this will continue, we have an annual scope of work review. And I appreciate that that's when Devin and I get together, we look at the scope of work and what needs to change or be updated. When we revised or put the most recent scope of work in place, it was reinforced by the Parks Bureau that they did not want the ESD Clean and Safe to be operating within the parks areas, and they made note that that was a labor bargaining issue. And so we have not been able to provide cleaning and safety in city parks in the district other than Director Park, which is a unique partnership and agreement. And so that's been a challenge in our current district. And as far as expansion, there was no discussion that I'm aware of moving east of NATO Parkway for the waterfront. And I would confidently speculate that that same scope of work position from the Parks Bureau would mirror if there were discussions in that. If that makes any sense.
It just means I would like to have a longer conversation between this and the next vote. However, Darcel Park, which is coming online hopefully by next summer, if we can get it together here
yes,
on the city side, you will be contracting with Parks on that?
Yes, it'll mirror the partnership and the legal arrangement as we have with Director Park, where we have a permit, we're the permit holder for that and do the management. And with that, we're able to provide the janitorial and safety services within that designated park only.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Just a quick question before we get to public testimony. In the consultant's recommendations that came to council earlier this year, I think one of the things they urged us to do was clarify the roles for Clean and Safe and Portland Mall Management. Has that conversation happened?
There's been conversations about that, and I think essentially what has been made more clear is that in the most recent, for example, the most recent scope of work that was approved for Clean and Safe for the 2023-2024 fiscal year did remove any mention of PMI or anything like that. So there has been some sort of administrative ways to kind of clean it up. I think that the confusion around that from BDS planning, I think is noted for sure. But as we've done some more digging, it's actually pretty clean lines for the most part.
Okay. Well, I hope we can get everyone on the same page, and you all know each other, so it should be a pretty easy meeting or pretty easy conversation to convene. Nothing else, presiding officer.
Okay, so we have 28 signed up for public testimony, 2 minutes each. I think we're going to plow through here for a little while, and if we need to take a break in 20 or 30 minutes, we will. 2 minutes each, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First, we have Eric Farley, then John Pumphrey, and Marion McNamara.
Thank you. My name's Eric Farley. I am a downtown, in the Clean and Safe District condominium owner, and therefore will benefit actually from the $200 cap. I'm excited about that. I'm also a Clean and Safe board member and on the executive committee. Who do hotels call when they have a critical airline client coming to decide whether to stay or move to a safer and cleaner location? Who stepped up and turned Directors Park into a place that has increased foot traffic 3 times the levels the rest of the city is seeing as a result of improved security, cleanliness, events, and pop-up businesses? You are a convicted felon just out of jail. You are homeless and feeling hopeless. You are a drug addict trying to escape meth. You need a job, but who will take you? Who will pay you $18 an hour as a trainee and $20 an hour after 6 months? Who will give you the opportunity for advancement? You are a small business owner in downtown Portland. A person is acting crazy and threatening you and your business. Who did you call? Our city has nightmares from the aftermath of the 2020 election. Who brought together?
You have 30 seconds. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, thank you. PPB, the county sheriff, the state police, the Office of Emergency Management, PBOT, and several more last week to facilitate the coordinated united front and plan for hundreds of downtown business owners. I think you know the answer to all these actual situations, and I barely scratched the surface.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
John Pumphrey is online.
Hi, I'm John Pumphrey. I'm a condo owner in downtown Portland. And our building pays $24,000 a year to Clean and Safe. For this, receive next to nothing. In fact, if it wasn't for poor service, we wouldn't get any service at all. I've made numerous complaints for the past 3 years to the executive team at Clean and Safe, and there have been no improvements of any sort. What's really irritating to some of us about Clean and Safe is that 50%, almost 50% of what we contribute to clean and safe is skimmed off the top by the Portland Metro Chamber of Commerce, the Portland Business Alliance, whatever they're calling themselves these days. And this can lead one to question the true purpose of clean and safe. Is clean and safe designed to keep our sidewalks and streets cleaner and safer? Or is it a way for taxpayers to fund the Portland Metro Chamber, Portland Business Alliance, and the exorbitant salaries of a handful of executives that are incapable of producing any measurable results? Therefore, I urge you not to renew this contract, these two proposals. I urge you to let this matter go to the new city government, let them work on it, and put together a whole new program so that it makes our cities safer and cleaner. Thank you.
Marion, you here?
Good afternoon. My name is Marion McNamara, and I live at University Park Condos at 1500 Southwest Park Avenue, right downtown. I love living in the heart of our city. I believe that a downtown that attracts people to live there as well as shop and work is the key to having a more vibrant city, a safer city, and a more green city. I'm a taxpayer and I'm also a ratepayer, because when that bill is presented to the HOA management company, it comes back to our HOA, and all of those of us who are homeowners in the HOA have to pay that bill. I would rather be paying that $200 in city taxes, because then I could deduct it from my federal taxes. So keep that in mind as a possible option. It's clear that the services that Clean and Safe provides are really helpful to the downtown businesses. We have seen the great Coral and Cat parade was wonderful in the South Park blocks and all over town. I love the things they're doing in Director Park. All of this really benefits the businesses more than the condos. If I were in a single family home, I wouldn't be paying the extra $200. So I would like you to consider making modification to how this taxing or what is the term, the rate paying takes place, because those of us who are living in the downtown are keeping it vibrant. And I think that we should encourage people, not discourage them by adding an additional expense that they can't deduct from their taxes. Thank you.
Next, we have Penny Serurier, Belinda Zilberman, and Wade Lang.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. I would like to say a few words in support of expanding the Downtown Clean and Safe District. I have worked in downtown Portland for over 30 years now. I am a partner at the law firm of Stoll Reeves, and our offices are directly across from Director Park. I have seen firsthand the difference that Downtown Clean and Safe has made, not just with the park, but with downtown generally. As you may know, our office, pardon me, on 9th is a few blocks away from the edge of the district. And as you move west, which is the way I drive home every day, I can see a noticeable difference between the cleaner downtown portion of the current district and what is currently now outside of the district. I would like to make a pitch for the clean part. We have clients coming downtown on a regular basis, and many of them in recent years have refused to come downtown or expressed reticence to come downtown. As I've taken several to lunch and we walk across Director Park and go to a restaurant, people have been commenting about how much cleaner the downtown area looks. And in our human psyche, clean equals safe, and that's what we need our downtown to feel like. Thank you.
Belinda Zilberman? Is Belinda with us? Wade?
Thank you. Thank you and good afternoon, council members. My name is Wade Lang, and I'm here today to voice support for the downtown Portland clean and safe expansion and rate adjustments. I am here in my role as a local advocate and political action director for the Building Owners and Managers Association of Oregon, BOMA. I'm also here in my role as one of the executive committee members of the Lloyd ESD. BOMA represents the commercial office properties primarily within the central business district. Many of our members are ratepayers to downtown Portland clean and safe. As commercial office buildings struggle in the aftermath of COVID, building owners have strived to make their properties clean, safe, and appealing to prospective tenants. Our members also recognize the importance of having a clean and safe community surrounding their properties. The services provided through downtown Portland Clean and Safe are a necessary part of building operations every day. We feel the expansion makes sense at a time when all three of Portland's enhanced service districts are sharing information and knowledge in ways they never have before in support of the entire city. Maybe in a perfect world, these enhanced services would be provided citywide and funded through our tax revenues. But it's not a perfect world. And the partnership between the public and private sectors is necessary in providing the services the city needs right now. Thank you very much.
Jason Gerlt and Tanya Hartnett.
Hi there, my name is Jason Gerlt. I am the general manager at South Park Seafood. Before that, I was the GM at Veritable Quandary on, once was on First Avenue. Between the two, I've been managing downtown restaurants for over 2 decades, and I have found Portland downtown clean and safe to be indispensable in providing and helping to provide a safe work environment for my staff, both of which have really prominent outdoor and sidewalk seating, which are in constant need of observation. In addition, being on the edge of the current district now, I'm sure you can see this stark difference between what downtown Portland Clean and Safe District looks like and once you cross that line. And I just think that by expanding what they're already doing, it's just going to be bringing more vibrancy and more safety and a cleaner environment for all of downtown Portland and the city core. We've talked a lot about people coming, visiting, wanting to come into the town. And I think it makes a huge difference when they see a cleaner space. I don't know how many of you have walked from a downtown restaurant over to see a soccer match. It just goes from clean and safe feeling to a real mess. And that's people coming in from out of town. And we need to stop the narrative in national and even local news. And so I urge you to accept this expansion. Thank you. Thank you.
I am Tanya Hartnett, and I am coming to you as the district manager of St. John's for the last 3 years. I have witnessed firsthand the struggles that small businesses experience. And as a single person that has, not single, I'm married, but you know, as one person that has had the responsibility to take care of a business district, it was overwhelming, fulfilling, and never enough to fully take care of everything that needed to happen to make it a safe and vibrant district. All business districts have a lot of the same issues, yet each one is unique and must be treated as such. Everything that happens within a business district affects each and every single business that is located there. The mayor's office recognized the need to help business districts and created PIMO over 2 years ago. Even though this is a great program, it is not enough to fully take care of all the issues that take place. The businesses have to, nothing is automatically taken care of through PIMO. Everything that has to be reported by overtapped businesses, and then they have to get in line in order to receive a response. So expanding enhanced service districts in downtown Portland
and hopefully throughout Portland, is crucial in the revitalization to promote the success of the Central City and business districts across Portland. I didn't get my bell rung.
Thank you.
Charla Wanta? Charla?
So,
Ellen Graham?
For the record, I'm Ellen Graham. Thank you for all of your work and for the permission to speak. I'm a resident, a condo owner on Southwest Jefferson and 11th, near the infamous Bread Pantry. I'm nearly a little old lady. I'm a technical writer, and I believe healthy cities are vastly important. My block is within the proposed DPCS expansion. I believe strongly that DPCS presence would benefit my neighbors and me. My little building is not Elliott Tower. We don't have someone watching out for us in our lobby. We're a building of about 45 units, 7 dedicated to low-income residents. We are diverse in age, identity, capacity, and color. Over the past 3 years, we have had campfires burn down our street trees, people taking a dump in our fire doors, sometimes once a week for months. So much garbage. Our building doors have been broken multiple times, which has been expensive for us to fix. We've lost 2 businesses that kept pedestrian traffic more balanced on the block. Changing systems is needful, but meanwhile, now-ish, our block could use help, and I believe DPCS could be that help because of their range of services and their easy accessibility. I draw this conclusion after reaching out to multiple agencies over several years following multiple different protocols. I also walk a lot all over the city. The DPCS boundary is incredibly obvious to me. I live in the shit doorway hinterland outside the boundary, and that costs me and my neighbors money and sanity. Expanding DPCS to our block is an expense, but not more than we're already paying. I thank you for your time.
thank you for being here.
Alicia Sullivan? And Alicia's online.
Hello, thank you for having me. I am the executive director of the Willamette Light Brigade, which is the nonprofit behind the Portland Winter Light Festival. The Light Festival's mission is to invigorate Portland in the winter and create positive experiences that highlight the best of our city through art and creativity. We're able to confidently send hundreds of thousands of families and people out to explore the streets downtown at night because we know that the Downtown Clean and Safe team is there ready to make sure that our shared downtown at a baseline is clean and safe. During our event in February, I called the Clean and Safe team personally 3 or 4 times a night to request assistance, and every time the team responded promptly, compassionately, and professionally at every level. It would be wonderful to see the service expanded to include more of our downtown. This quote from a festival attendee sums up how DPCS sets the stage for the positive experiences that we work to produce every year. Quote, "Nothing can revitalize a downtown like a Winter Light Festival. This event proves that programming public spaces with art draws people downtown and creates a safe and walkable city at night. I strongly support expanding the Clean and Safe service boundaries to make more of our downtown a safe and walkable place to have positive experiences." Thank you.
David DeMoss.
Greetings, commissioners. I'm David DeMoss, board chair representing the board of directors at the Elliott Tower Condominiums, a 229-unit residential and commercial building located in Southwest 10th and Jefferson. The proposed clean and safe expansion would add our building to the existing enhanced service district. The Elliott Tower currently pays about $65,000 per year for security services provided by the West End Service District through Echelon and another private security company. We also pay for housekeeping staff to pick up trash around our building. Adding new services from clean and safe costing about $47,000 as per the $200 cap would substantially increase what we currently spend to protect our building. By comparison, a similarly sized building in downtown Seattle's Business Improvement District would pay about $28,000 per year. Based on these two data points, we believe the clean and safe fee proposed for us is excessive, and we don't think that we would get our money's worth. We are not opposed to the expansion itself. However, we request that the proposal to expand be tabled until a more reasonable rate can be determined for the cost to our association and to other condominiums and apartments within downtown clean and safe. The proposed rate structure is not equitable for multifamily and mixed-use residential properties. Business owners are clearly the major beneficiaries of clean and safe services since they depend heavily on foot traffic. A rate increase to businesses could offset a reduction in the condominium cost structure. The proposed new fee formula is not revenue neutral. At $9.9 million, it will be a revenue increase of 11.1% to current ratepayers. No mention of or budget justification for this increase is found in the proposal. A $2 million increase is a lot of money with little accountability as to how it is spent. And this is an increase with no democratic representation since Clean and Safe is a private nonprofit. We advocate a revenue neutral proposal with all spending clearly justified and a substantial rate reduction in the proposal condominium building assessment. Please send the proposal back for revision. Please table the proposal. It is not yet ready for approval at this time. Residential property owners are being treated unfairly. Thank you for considering our request.
Brock Dunn.
Hello all, my name is Brock Dunn. I'm the interim head of school at Northwest Academy. New to the area and grateful for this opportunity to engage in a conversation about my new city. Even before my arrival this fall, Northwest Academy has been a strong supporter of the expansion of the clean and safe boundaries. Our school serves a diverse population of students, ages 11 to 18, educators and families who rely on a safe and welcoming environment for learning, growth, and engagement. For more than 25 years, this neighborhood has been more than our home. It has been an extension of our educational mission, where we foster creativity, collaboration, and connection to downtown Portland. I know that the community has evolved in recent years, and so have the challenges in maintaining a healthy and safe community. As of late, we have observed increasing concerns related to public safety, cleanliness, and access to resources, all of which impact the quality of life for our students, but also our neighbors who live and do business here. Expanding the clean and safe boundaries will provide the necessary infrastructure to address some of these concerns and will help us in our efforts around placemaking, enabling us to build and deepen mutually helpful relationships with neighbors, and cementing our commitment to being a school in and of downtown. At Northwest Academy, we believe that education flourishes when the surrounding community is safe, clean, and conducive to positive engagement. The Clean and Safe program has already demonstrated its effectiveness in promoting that environment, and we're confident that its expansion will bring the same benefits to our neighborhood. By extending the program boundaries, you will create a strong, more resilient, and prosperous community for all who live, work, and learn there. Thank you for your consideration in supporting this important initiative, which will not only benefit Northwest Academy and our students, but will also contribute to the overall well-being and vibrancy of our neighborhood. Thanks.
Vanessa Sturgeon. B. Tyree.
Good afternoon. My name is B. Tyree. I am the Director of Operations for PMAR, the Portland Metropolitan Association of Realtors. We are located at 150 Southwest Harrison, immediately south of the current clean and safe boundary. Being on the boundary, we see the difference that the clean and safe district makes from both sides of the street every day as we arrive and leave to work. I'm here to express PMAR's strong support for the proposed expansion, bringing essential services to a neighborhood facing persistent challenges related to safety, cleanliness, and accessibility. We encounter individuals in crisis on a daily basis, some of them carrying weapons or openly smoking fentanyl outside of our doors, as well as trash, human waste, needles, and public sex acts. We often find people camping in our stairwells or our landscape area or using them as bathrooms. Our staff and our Realtor members must navigate these obstacles when we are entering and exiting the building. Just west of us, the Lovejoy Fountain Park in the pedestrian pathway of the Portland open space sequence have become hot areas for graffiti, trash, vandalism, and increased camping and drug use. Local residents who are our neighbors, including seniors and a lot of families with young children, tell us that they don't feel safe in this area. One of our neighbors is Portland Segway Tours, and they kick off their tours at the Lovejoy Fountain, which currently is not a very attractive area for tourists to be starting out seeing our beautiful city. These are the challenges that must be met by more than just law enforcement. We appreciate the Portland Police and the park rangers, but their presence is largely reactive and they show up long after an incident has occurred. Expanding clean and safe south to Lincoln Street would provide much needed eyes on the street and a consistent trained presence that can address issues proactively. So the Portland Metro Association of Realtors respectfully asks you to approve this expansion to restore safety, accessibility, and a positive experience for those of us who work, live, and visit Portland. Thank you.
Anita Davidson. Anita's online.
Good evening, good afternoon. My name is Anita Davidson. You've heard from me before. I'm a downtown condominium owner and I'm on the board. So first I'd like to speak to what our board actually voted formally, which is about expansion. Unfortunate for ratepayers, the city has not yet, after 30 years, adopted standards for formation, renewal, or expansion of the ESDs. At some point, we hope and expect that this will happen, although listening tonight, it sounds like it's an all-in-one thing, and I'd like clarification on that at some point. At any rate, some current ratepayers have been denied the option to voluntarily participate or opt out. However, in the current proposal, if you notice along NATO to the north, a private property and 2 large condominiums are being excluded, being allowed to opt out. Now, this is not consistent or equitable treatment of condominiums, and there's no standard that requires condominiums be included, but there's none that say how the process would go to exclude them. So it's clear that we need some processes and not just adopting what's done in Seattle. What's been done up there and is adopted in this process is already in code in Seattle. It's been adopted and approved there. And by just adopting a recommendation and going by it doesn't seem like the right way to be fair and consistent. Second, our board opposes the fee schedule. And that's maybe odd because we would be one of the 3 condominiums, not all will benefit, but there are 3 of us who will, from the proposed cap. The reason we object is largely because the fee structure is not revenue neutral. It's an 11% increase, as you've already heard. In addition, it's an 83% increase since 2021. That's a lot total increase. It's way beyond inflation. And when this Clean and Safe hits $10 million, that is a lot of money. And so I would like you to consider tabling this, letting it go until the full course in 2026.
Lauren Peng. Elizabeth Nye. Elizabeth is online.
Hi, this is Lauren. As many of you have said prior in testimony, the work that Clean and Safe teams have done throughout downtown has been so beneficial for the revitalization of downtown. I have personally needed the services at our sites and appreciate the hard work that the Clean and Safe team members perform. I am a real estate professional and have been for many years in the greater Portland area. Our commercial real estate industry has suffered a significant impact over the past few years. We have business owners and tenants that benefit from these services, absolutely. But I hope the city and commissioners can understand and appreciate the monetary challenges these building owners and tenants are experiencing. Costs for many of our services, supplies, and good Lord, insurance rates, et cetera, have gone up incredibly the past several years. I'm in support of the expansion district and the services that are offered, but we ask that those involved in the implementation and control this rollout really take a look from the eyes of owners and tenants who are experiencing increased expenses but reduced revenues, that perhaps this program and its fees can be done over more of a ramped up system each year, allocating perhaps more of the cost as hopefully the real estate environment and businesses are able to achieve better revenue streams. Thank you.
Elizabeth Nye.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm Elizabeth Nye, a current board member of Downtown Portland Clean and Safe and executive director of Lansu Chinese Garden. As a cultural anchor in the heart of Old Town, Lansu faces obstacles every day, and Downtown Portland Clean and Safe has been a lifeline for us in navigating these challenges. When the back door of Lansu is urinated on multiple times in a single day, our staff know they can call Clean and Safe. This kind of support isn't just practical, it alleviates a tremendous amount of stress, so much so that I know it's key to staff retention at our organization. During AA and HPI Heritage Month, when we host large community gatherings on the festival streets adjacent to Lansu, Clean and Safe has stepped up with extra cleaning and security, ensuring the streets are ready for thousands of attendees. Without their help, we simply could not host these events. Clean and Safe has also driven much needed foot traffic into Old Town through initiatives like the Bloom Tour. For the past 2 years, we've had large-scale floral installations on our front plaza, a life-size dragon boat and an 8-foot tall hummingbird. Most recently, the Coraline cat stood between our 2 Chinese lions and created the perfect feline selfie backdrop. As ED of Lansu, I did not come into this role with a background in security or public safety. The Downtown Portland Clean and Safe staff, Mark Wells and Steve Witcherly, have consistently filled in the gaps with technical support and guidance on everything from best practices for lockdown scenarios to election protest readiness guidelines to real-time assistance when difficult situations arise. Fundamentally, their support has meant that I can focus on more fully executing Lansu's mission. So in a neighborhood as challenging as Old Town, these enhanced services aren't just a perk, they are critical to our survival. Expanding the DPCS service area will create a cleaner, safer, and more vibrant environment throughout the greater portion of our city, benefiting all those who live, work, and visit downtown Portland.
Courtney Angeli.
Hi, I'm Courtney Angeli. Thank you all for hearing this and considering this. As Commissioner Ryan pointed out earlier today, our arts organizations are really challenged in this environment. And I'm speaking as vice chair of the Oregon Symphony Board. The Oregon Symphony is very supportive of continuing and expanding Clean and Safe. It has been so hard for us in the wake of COVID and just the decline of downtown to get people back into the schnitz, and we are very dependent on earned revenue. And having a sense of safety, especially because so many of our patrons are older, is just absolutely vital. So what you all did earlier really goes hand in hand with what you're doing now, and we're very grateful that this is being considered. Also, I'm a business owner downtown, and I am a co-owner of a law firm. We just renewed a lease. We moved to a different building, but in roughly the same area downtown. I frankly had a lot of trepidation about doing that, and there's a lot of temptation for law firms to move down to Cruz Way. We did that in part because it is getting better, and the presence of the Clean and Safe people is just so reassuring. It's reassuring anytime you're on a block and you realize there's a lot of homeless people. If there's a Clean and Safe person there, that's enormously reassuring. And I'm just very grateful for the program, and thank you all for your time and continued work on public safety.
Rose Gorin.
Members of Portland City Council, thank you for the opportunity to testify today in support of the expansion of downtown Portland Clean and Safe. My name is Rose Gorin, and I'm a public policy analyst with Central City Concern. Last year alone, CCC provided housing to nearly 5,000 residents, healthcare to over 11,000 patients, and employment support to over 1,300 job seekers. We proudly partner with Clean and Safe through our Clean Start program, a homeless to work initiative that provides job skills, peer support, and community through providing cleaning services for Portland. Over 6 months, trainees access CCC's comprehensive services, housing, healthcare, and addiction treatment, and most complete the program with both housing and stable employment. But beyond the measurable impacts, our outstanding partnership with Clean and Safe changes lives. CCC's Clean Start is more than just a program. It's a lifeline for people seeking a new path forward and a restored sense of purpose. Expanding Clean and Safe's boundaries by nearly 60 blocks will amplify these impacts by creating an even larger service region, and the updated rate structure supports transparency, fairness, and continuity of these regionally critical programs. As an owner of 31 properties and a service provider in the region, CCC relies on Clean and Safe to support an environment where our tenants, clients, staff, and mission to end homelessness can succeed. By approving this renewal and expansion, Council will reinforce the foundation of a safer, more resilient, and beautiful downtown, one where every person, from business owners to those overcoming life's greatest challenges, has a chance to thrive. Thank you for considering this critical investment in Portland's future. We urge you to support the expansion and continue the essential work of Clean and Safe.
Justin Winnock.
Good evening, council members. My name is Justin Winnock. I moved to Portland from Medford, Oregon in July of 2020. I was heavily addicted to heroin and meth, and I needed help. My addiction was so bad that I jumped off a bridge trying to end my life. I came up here to go to inpatient treatment and start a new life. I graduated from treatment October 20th, 2020, and moved into a sober living house. In order to pay my bills, I was doing work through a temp agency. I was trying to be a functioning member of society. I was living drug and alcohol free and starting to live life on life's terms. It was difficult trying to be self-sufficient with working at the temp agency. I was happy to be employed, but the work was not steady. With my background record and lack of employment due to my years of addiction and bad choices, I found getting a regular full-time job difficult. I felt like I had too many barriers to overcome and was getting frustrated with myself. I was trying to do the right thing, but wasn't having any luck getting a steady job. In February of 2021, I got a call from Central State Concern. I interviewed with the Clean Start program for the janitor trainee position. I was so thankful I got an interview. I felt like all I needed was someone willing to take a chance on me. I got the job, and for the first time, I felt like I had a purpose. Instead of working different hours and doing different jobs every day for the temp agency, I had a sense of normalcy. I finally had a set schedule and set job duties. I had people who were depending on me and counting on me to be there. I started to build relationships with my coworkers and looked forward to going to work. I never expected to be a 37-year-old who was excited to go to his job to pick up trash, but I was so grateful for the opportunity. After a few months of gaining some skills and learning the job and what the company was about, I applied to become a permanent employee. I wasn't hired the first time I interviewed, but I wasn't going to give up. Now that I got a taste of being self-sufficient, I wasn't going to let it go. I applied again to be a janitor trainer, and at this time, I got it. I can't describe the relief and joy that I felt. I'm currently a supervisor for Central City Concern. I have worked my way up from the janitor trainee program to being a supervisor. I am hoping that approving this expansion will help up to 7 people have the same opportunities I have had as we grow our cleaning team. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you so much for telling your story.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you guys.
Jana Tessman. Jana's online.
Hi, I'm Jana Tessman. I'm the type of person you all want to attract downtown to spend money. The reasons I don't go are the same reasons why revitalization has yet to materialize, and Clean and Safe exacerbates all of the reasons I don't go if I can help it. People can't afford to live in this city, especially not downtown. People have been pushed to living in the streets. We have a housing crisis and are about to prematurely extend a contract that raises the costs of housing downtown. I am appalled that affordable housing buildings are charged at all. That goes against every goal we have. All of the services provided by Clean and Safe can and should be provided by the city itself. It would save $1 million in overhead administrative costs. Why are we adding extra steps to make basic services available downtown? Why are we enabling lobbyists to have a job lobbying the same city that they're getting rates from? It's not a tax. Gonzalez described it as a tax. It is not a tax. It is a rate. The ratepayers do not have a say, and the audit pointed out these problems, and Clean and Safe has yet to actually try to fix that. And I'm looking at Clean and Safe's own data, and you all are in denial. Like, the foot traffic downtown has plateaued. That is where it's at. The thing that is still going up is the vacancies of offices. And I'm looking for this business leadership that we're allegedly paying for. Where is the innovation to change this glut in the supply of office buildings? Why don't we have more housing downtown? How is Clean and Safe contributing to more housing? All they're doing is re-traumatizing people on the streets. I am alarmed that security guards, like, are they trained to be first responders? Why isn't Portland Street Response responding to that instead? You all failed the group project. You left all of the work to a woman of color. I hope you lose the election. Thank you.
Jordan Lewis. Jordan's online.
Hello, can you hear me?
You can go ahead, Jordan.
I'm testifying today in opposition to items 951 and 952, which forced a new 10-year contract with Portland Clean and Safe 2 years before the previous contract expires. As a downtown resident, my rent is taxed by this program, a tax that pays the salaries of Portland Metro Chamber executives and lobbies against my material interest. It's my experience this decision is largely unpopular with downtown residents, but the lame duck council is rushing it through before the election, as at least 3 of you will not hold office in January. This is not the first time this council has shirked the public's will. In fact, since I moved into the city 3 years ago, I noticed a pattern. I only testify 2 to 3 times a year when the council tries to sneak something broadly unpopular through, is caught and called out on it by their voters, and then passes it anyways. I'm so beyond tired of this cycle. I just want to do my day job. I waited 3 hours to testify today, but you made me come here and beg for you to respect the democratic process and allow the 2025 council to decide the 2025 contract renewal. Note how mayoral candidate Keith Wilson has done so well in the new ranked choice race, despite his lack of governing experience. A huge part of that has to be the intense public dissatisfaction with the council sitting before me. Voters know this council doesn't represent or even respect them, and they are desperate for literally anything else. Most of you are running for mayor, and building public trust starts right here, right now. Most Oregonians have not cast their ballots yet, and I have several friends who will look to me for advice filling theirs out. I will recommend them to pick Wilson, Ostis, Kinsey Bay, Callahan, and hopefully at least one of you. And for every one of me that showed up, there's 30 who didn't have 33 hours on a Thursday to wait and testify.
Christy McMurtry.
Hi, my name is Christy McMurtry. I'm the lay leader of St. Stephen's Episcopal Parish downtown on the corner of Southwest 13th and Clay. And we're in the far southwest corner of the proposed boundary expansion. And we are in support of this expansion. Everyone talks about Portland getting back to what it was, and history will tell you that St. Stephen's has had a hand in why Portland is special. We began 161 years ago today when the bishops decided to build a chapel right on the block you're sitting on right now today. And he was an early Portland progressive, and he recognized the need to educate women. So he built a chapel that also decided to be a school that then turned into what OES is today. So, success led to the growth, and we moved up to where we are on 13th and Clay. Pretty nice location till the I-405 Stadium freeway cut right through our front yard, our doors, and we've had our challenges. I will say that being so far away from the boundary has been challenging. Portland State students walk by us to try to get across the 405 into where they're living, and it's not a safe area sometimes for them, especially at night. I'm also a member of the Downtown Behavioral Health Task Force, and I was able to witness firsthand how Steve Eichele and Clean and Safe creatively tackled the concerns and problems around the opening of the Behavioral Health Resource Center. I was impressed with the way they partnered, kept human compassion front and center in the conversations. And I learned about varied programs such as their ambassador program. At St. Stephen's have our own ambassador, Ozzy. And every morning at 5 a.m., he patrols our block, talks to those who are sleeping, fills garbage bags, and helps people on the sidewalk feel safe as they walk by. He has lived experience, he has the touch, but he's only part-time and we need our help. Hope, first impressions count, but so do the last. And when people drive by on their way to Southwest Hills, all over Portland to get on the freeways, we take pride in trying to keep our corner clean, but we do need help.
Thank you.
Jeremy Salmon. Tim Halber. Brian Conley. Brian's online.
I don't see him.
Brian, can you hear us? Can you unmute Brian?
Oh,
Oh, we hear you now.
can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, and then here's my video. Hi all, thank you for having me here today. I am unfortunately out in my car trying to solve my team's Halloween disaster, but let's talk about clean and safe. So first of all, I'm Brian Conley. I'm a city council candidate for District 3. Am I still on? Yes, okay, cool.
We can hear you
So
fine,
let's
Brian.
just say this, thank you. This is not a new issue. Clean and safe has been controversial all along, yet here you are considering hanging yet another anchor on the neck of the new city council. This agreement is not up for another year. In fact, the original contract goes for 2 more years. And it's not, radical anarchist leftists who are opposing this, right? As I said, this isn't new. In 2021, OPB interviewed radical leftist Jesse Burke, head of the Society Hotel and a former Clean and Safe board member. At the time, Burke said, the city is subsidizing the business chamber while sucking away resources that could be used to rebuild and restore downtown. 6 months later, Ashley Henry, head of the Business for Better Portland, clearly another radical leftist, asked, how is it good for Portland's business and condo owners to have to pay into municipal programs run with such abysmal oversight and reporting that it's almost impossible to follow the money? And these comments came years after the city auditor found numerous issues with how the city engages with these enhanced service districts. My question for you, commissioners, when there are forthcoming budget constraints and our city government will completely change on January 1, why do you believe it's a good idea to obligate the next council to a contract for at least 5 years, particularly a contract with an organization that arguably harms small businesses and stymies works to revitalize and restore the central city and absolutely utilizes monies of our small business in a way that's at least questionable, if not outright legalized corruption? Commissioners, do your duty, work in the service of all Portlanders, not your public interest. Don't hang an anchor on the neck of the new government, and please stop connecting things that create conflict. We don't need to connect the expansion with the contract.
John H. John is online.
Can you hear me?
Hi, we can hear you, John. You can go ahead.
Hey, my name is John. I'm here to express concern about the security aspect of Clean and Safe. I know many people that have benefited from helping being employed to clean up downtown, but my main concern is the security guards. I'm frustrated that wealthy developers and property owners continue to influence city policy and avoid addressing the rampant abuse of their security and shelter them from accountability that's almost non-existent. There's a lack of attention on abuse by security guards, or there's not a lack of attention on abuse from the security guards, but you all continue to ignore it over and over again. Vanessa Sturgeon is a Clean and Safe executive board member, which she was going to speak, it sounds like, which is disturbing. She was just found partially civilly liable for the murder of Freddie Nelson at the hands of her armed security guards that is managed by right-wing extremists. One of their security company managers is a January 6er. He was in DC during the insurrection, and he talks about K parties, which is a party celebrating your first kill as a security guard. Another former Clean and Safe board member and recipient of the services, Jesse Burke, also works with security guards that are notorious for their abuse and mistreatment, so much so that the DA and the police both watch Echelon. And the DA even had to send a memo to their staff to not take them serious when charges come across their desk involving Echelon. Clean and Safe Security have used fake city signs and illegal exclusionary forms to clear homeless from specific areas at the behest of these wealthy folks. Another security guard that worked for Clean and Safe seemingly lied in court on the stand to defend notorious Proud Boy Alan Sweeney, which is now serving almost a decade in prison. These are just a couple examples. I'm frustrated that these concerns continue to not be addressed. Some of this might.
That concludes testimony.
Okay, colleagues, are there any questions or comments at this time? Okay. Both items 951 and 952 are first readings of non-emergency ordinances. Both moved to second reading on November 13th at 9:30 a.m. Rebecca, does that conclude our business for today?
It does.
With that, we are hereby adjourned.